But guys, I think that is finally enough talking for us this evening, as I'm now going to move center stage and get ready to kick things off, guys. Give it up for the Deadman Winter 2018 finale.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Deadman Winter 18 finale tournament.
They both do.
It's great. We're at the point now where if anyone dies, that's it. It's the end of their journey. In a moment, we're going to be rejoined by Pure Spam, but in the meantime, we have our wonderful host, Mod Archie, while Ian goes to the bathroom. He's had one too many Red Bulls before the tournament kicked off.
A minute before going, Ian goes, "Can I run to the toilet?" I'm like, "All right, I'll do a minute of casting." We'll see if he washes his hands. Okay, so which team are we looking at here? These guys look pretty formidable. Well, we're not going to get much.
We've got a crazy taxi over there. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Whilst we get some information come through from our wonderful team backstage, if you are interested in sending something over to us, feel free to use the hashtag DeadmanWinter on Twitter. Do send us in tweets. Please try and keep it nice and something that we can actually have on screen. Don't be that person. Looks like I've just been joined back by Pure Spam.
I'm so sorry, my nerves got to me, and I drank a Red Bull before I got on stage. So I'm back now, though. I went back to watch the spectacle that is Deadman Winter. How are you, Ben?
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
excited?
You, I am, yeah. I mean, it's probably, if people have been keeping up with Deadmans, we'll get onto the action in just a moment. There's just one thing that I think is well worth us covering right now.
Right.
You'll notice that there's only two of us at the moment. Normally, we do have the wonderful Revan alongside us casting. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it to this event. So, we were asked, do you guys want to go as a duo? And Pure Spam / Ian being one of my best friends, I couldn't say no. Fantastic time as always. And,
Ben.
Really looking forward to how this tournament pans out and how well we do. I love the chemistry between us, so hopefully the audience do too.
No, absolutely.
Just want to put on a good show for you.
It's good to be sitting next to you again, doing another event. I believe we did our own one a few weeks ago, didn't we? The Aiza Giza NH tournament, which went spectacularly, may I say, as well. And now we get to each other and talk about RuneScape all over again, which I can't wait for.
My favourite thing to do. So. We do have a chest drop that's going to be coming in 2.5 minutes. Those chest drops typically contain pretty powerful pieces of equipment that you would normally have to do, some high-end PVM or other actions to have to kind of like get a hold of. So I believe that we're going to be looking at chest number 2, which is going to contain a Carol's skirt and Aaron's robe bottom for anyone who is lucky enough to get a hold of that. And that's going to be near the Forgotten Cemetery, which is what we're looking at.
Okay, so the Aaron's robe top, obviously the best in-slot mage equipment. And right now, we have a bit of battle going on already. Only NMZ getting stuck into it, trying to take down some opponents. We're getting Barrage right now, taking off his armor for some mage defense bonuses, which was negative beforehand, I believe. But of course, Ice Barrage freezes your opponent in place, and he's not letting him get away. Although he's going to be wasting supplies. Is he going to follow him all the way north? Looks like only NMZ might get away, but no, he's being frozen in place just west of Draenor Manor. Quite an interesting spot as well to be PKing at right there.
Yeah, very much so. If maybe this chap had done something more than NMZ, he'd have a bit better of a chance of keeping himself alive, because I don't believe you get experience within. there in Deadman because it's an instance. So
this is what it's all about, though. You know, jumping right into the combat. Maybe not, you know, preparing yourself for the final hour. Who cares about the $20,000 grand prize? Let's just have fun and you know, slay some
looking at his
out.
invent, obviously, you know, managed
Dude,
to
he
kill
just
someone,
dropped his staff. Wait, what?
Oh, he's just juked them, dropped the staff, and he runs. Only NMZ, you're a genius, my friend.
We can't see that they're chatting games. So maybe he was saying right there, listen, man, you can have my staff. Just let me go. I'm not going to be a threat in the final.
He has
just let me get away.
food, nothing on him apart from a few runes that he can probably teleport to Lumbridge and die with. And yeah, it'll be very fun to see how only NMZ gets in this tournament.
Well, as you mentioned before, we have a whole week these players have had to get in as much combat as they can. And right now, this guy, absolute champion in the full Mystics, the Black Full Helm, the Dorgeshan crossbow.
Oh, but, unfortunately, Glory Boy did not fall at that time.
No, he got away right
Probably was about to.
So a lot of these players obviously been playing very casually, just helping out their teams, their squads, trying to gear them up with the best gear possible they can get through the wilderness and such. Others have been sweating out the entire week, playing 20+ hour days. They started on Saturday, last Saturday, at level 3 accounts, and oh my gosh, this is going to be the most interesting thing to watch all tournament.
Everyone's just having a little splash in the River Lum, I believe that is.
Oh man. There we go. Come on, have a nice little.
Yeah, how many of them can make it across?
Oh man, that's always good to see.
It's not that hard. Just jump to the other stone.
Shall we talk about the major alliances, or should we wait until after the chest drop is about to fall up in the graveyard over here?
Well, it looks like it's about to drop, but no one wants to get it. Apart from that little old rangy boy in the corner there, wearing his green dragon hide.
This is why you have the level 59 just sitting around. If he dies, who cares, man? He's not going to lose much. It's what a green D-hide, his anti-dragon shield, managed to pick himself up an Aram's robe top and a Carol's skirt for his team. And the Aram's robe top.
Oh, the other way around. Carol's skirt and Aram's robe bottom.
Robe bottom. Okay, well, still best in slot robe bottoms for the Arams, which is very, very important.
I mean, you can't equip them, bless him, and the tuner probably isn't going to see, but that is one huge force.
There's a lot of them here. I think I just saw Mika potentially, who's a big name, unless he's changed his...
That is one absolutely gigantic army.
I know exactly who this is. I saw Tartar Demon there. So,
yes, I have some numbers here. Do you want to talk about the individual teams, and then I can go through how many there are?
Yeah, we can do. So we have 2 major alliances in this tournament so far. Obviously, to get the best chance of making it through the multi-phase, there are only 256 players that make it to the 1 versus 1. So in order to get there, you want to be able to go with a clan who can back you up, who can secure your entry into that final situation. So the 2 major alliances. Here we have, most definitely, CT, Cutthroat, who are a massive 07 clan, been around for many, many years now, led by Christie. We have Tartar as well. These guys have been playing since the World 45, the original demo days, and they are a force to be reckoned with. All of their players very skilled in the 1v1 specifically. Execution, again, an olden World 45 clan, been around for a very long time, and GG, the solo alliance, Rads 201 as they were formerly known as. We saw them last tournament coming together and really working together as a big force for the first time. Apart from those guys, though, we also have another 3 teams in the form of ODB that Max was talking about earlier. We have Blazers, DL, Divine Legion, and OT, Overtake, and they are joining up with Fools. We have Fools Justice on the stage as well right now. It's a lot of information to digest, but we'll be talking about things a little bit further in general. Do you want to go on to how big these teams really are as well?
Yeah, of course. And to put things into perspective, we can jump over to the heat map quickly. You can kind of see the size of these globes here. So you can see that one team has already decided to secure themselves the position within inside Anakal. That's where that last area is going to be. I believe that's where we're looking at, right? Yep. This is the right area. We have another very large team coming out here. This lovely looking nucleus that you can see.
Strip at the moment.
Yeah, and if you look at the size of them, they're very similar. So if these 2 are opposing clans, that's going to be a very interesting clash of us to look at. Now we look over in the other area, you can see there's a few little spots around that's going to highlight some small teams, maybe a group of 3 or 4 friends, probably having a few drinks and around one of those
enjoying themselves.
Yeah, just having a good time. And then you can see here 2 fairly large forces and one, mediocre kind of size. Sorry. So in terms of numbers, we're looking at around about 75 or so people at the moment. This is as of 6:30, so we're a little bit out. But as of 6:30 this evening, which is an hour and a half ago, around about 75 people running clanless. Tartar seem to have a force of around about 127 people.
127 now. Wow, that is huge out of the 2,000 that applied, obviously.
Yep. Coming in second to them are Fools with around about 100 members.
The Finnish squad.
Yeah. Blazers seem to have 91 in part of their group.
And they're also allianced with Fools, of course, so taking number 2 and 3. They are a very large force.
Absolutely, yeah. You saw how big that clump was, and you can probably safely say that it's going to include some of those. We've got Mika's group, not quite sure of who is running with at the moment, but that's...
Lit, potentially.
Lit.
They've always been a massive force in the past. And I believe this time round they have a bit of a smaller merge of another clan called CD, but I believe Mika and MORPG as well on the stage right now are rocking with Lit, staying true to their clan they've always been with.
If that's the case, then maybe Lit aren't that small, because Mika's group seem to have around about 88 members.
Wow.
Lit alone have 82. And then we're looking at CT with about 48 players and Execution with 22 as well.
Okay.
So some really good numbers there. If we're looking at, the biggest team seems to be Tartar and Fools. So if those two are kind of like joining together, then they're not, though, are they? They're the CT.
It's CT, Tartar, Execution, and GG. And I believe that Tartar squad probably has a few members from CT, Execution, GG amalgamating into them, as well as Blazers, of course, having teams of DL and OT also in their clan chat too. Now, the biggest problem for Fools and the Blazers Alliance, or the ODB Alliance rather, is going to be that the Fools members, the Finnish squadron, they're 100+ strong. They have a big alliance together, but they don't speak the same language. So they're not going to have the same communication these other squads are going to have. CT, Tartar, Execution, GG. These guys are all in the same Discord together, calling out different commands and making sure they're all, moving as one big force together. It's going to be a difficult Titan to overcome.
Communication at that point is going to be so critical to success as well, especially when we've seen in previous tournaments, you'll get to see it as the other opponents start to work, kind of like close in on the safe area, but they're going to start taking a separate corner, and that's going to be their home territory within the safe zone until they're forced to have to fight. And then you'll slowly see people kind of like moving around, very coordinated. And when you have two very large forces that are meant to be working together, but have a communication barrier, it's going to be very difficult to stay coordinated. We've got another chest drop coming up here within 4 seconds. This one is going to be landing in Barbarian Village, and it's going to include an imbued Seer's Ring and an imbued Archer's Ring.
Look at this guy, Borkfish 1147. What a name, what a hero, running in, trying to get the item, but I believe that's a clanmate, and Carlos grabbing out himself the items, and from that chest, kicking himself up, level 102 combat. And I'm wondering, is he going to be an escort for those items to give it to a more, a stronger player, or is he literally going to keep them for himself?
Yeah, very nice items for him to have there, as I say. Imbued Seer's Ring, Imbued Archer's Ring, so two best in-slot things there for them for both magic accuracy and range accuracy.
Yeah, you'd probably end up sticking with the Seer's Ring, of course. Having that mage accuracy, catching those freezes, being able to DD under your opponents and such is absolutely crucial. Let's talk about old school RuneScape for a little bit as well. How does PvP work in RuneScape?
How does PvP work? Can I just say quickly before we move on from there?
Yes, of course.
The person who just managed to pick up that chest is actually from Fools.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the Finnish warriors going out of their way to get those imbued rings, of course, having to kill the DKs. Very hard place to get those rings, and those best-in-slot rings are really helpful as well.
It's a pretty risky move as well, because it's in multi Barbarian Village. You could have just got completely piled on, but managed to take it.
We see this time and time again, actually. All the clans staying away from those areas, which usually we'd think would attract a lot of players to it, but all the clans just not feeling like it's worthwhile whatsoever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fools a little bit.
You said you wanted to talk about a little bit about PvP, so should we just do that for our viewers if you've just tuned in? If we'll just kind of like go back and forth on conversations. I apologise, I interrupted you, Flo, Ian, but we can get back into it.
No need to apologise, Ben. Talking about PvP and RuneScape, so we have the combat triangle, which consists of range, magic, and melee. So the main spells for magic are going to be Ice Barrage and Ice Blitz. Those are also, of course, Ice Barrage is an AoE effect damage, so it hits multiple targets at the same time. It also freezes your opponents in place. We also have for range the Chinchompers, which again is an area of effect damage. Now you have overhead spells that you can see in game right now that protect from range. Like I just hit a 37 Warhammer hit.
Yeah,
that's the PvP weapon going in.
Was that
hard,
Darrok's great axe I've just seen swinging down?
Oh, I hope so. I really hope someone's got the Darrows. I always ask for it.
I believe it was the Warhammer.
It's pure mission. Oh, this guy. This is a Solar Mission, of course, one of the content creators out here right now, and looks like he's potentially trying to grab himself one of the chest drops that appear here, but he's being intercepted by these two players. What was that? I just have
well,
no
he's
idea.
been interpreted to be a very formidable opponent, so they have to take him down, Pure Spam. That's how you recover.
I believe Pure Mission's actually, that's maybe his alt account. I doubt it's his main, as I've seen his main around before. I was playing with their team earlier this week, and he's going to make a quick getaway potentially, maybe even lure these guys into his other members, but actually these guys don't really care about the kill. All they want is that supply drop. What comes from this supply drop as well?
So this supply drop is going to be the anti-chest 2. So chest 4 contains the Carol's top and Arim's top.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
so best in slot again, unless you've got yourselves an Armador plate body, which
we know a few people have.
We might see those a bit later on from the God Wars dungeon itself.
Yeah. So, Ian, you were touching very briefly on PvP a moment ago.
Yes.
We got to the point of talking about barrage spells. So we've got Ice Barrage, which is the AoE that freezes and deals damage. Very, very strong, but it can also damage your teammates, so people have to be careful. I think that's what you said about Blitz. You're also going to be looking at Blood Barrage. Blood Barrage, another AoE spell, but rather than freezing, it actually heals you for a percentage of the damage that you dish out.
Which is absolutely crucial towards the final area. When you want to make sure you're making best use of those supplies, you can't go to a bank and get more out. If you're out of food, unless you can find some on the floor, you are out out of the game pretty much. You're going to fall very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's almost like imagine yourself doing a greater Necreal task, a superior Necreal just like spawns about, and instead of like 4 death spawns, there's actually 40 of them. Imagine how much damage you're taking, but imagine how much you're healing at the same time as well. And talking about how much damage, how much can this team output? What a huge amount of people that we have here stacked in the corner, just a few steps away from Anakal.
Yeah, and looking at their gear as well, we see a lot of people in the Barrows gear, in the Zuriel stuff, all the PvP weapons. They've had a week, like I said before, to get the best gear possible, to train their accounts up to the best stats possible. Of course, there's been accelerated experience drops, accelerated drop rates, but still, they've had to grind it out like crazy and count out the best members, have the best chance of winning that $20,000 grand prize.
For sure. Ian, I'm very cautious of the fact that we keep going to talk about PvP
sorry,
and interrupting ourselves.
Okay,
so
sorry.
We've got to the point of combat triangle. We have ranged, magic, and melee.
Of course. So melee usually has to be used up close, of course. Your special attacks, which are usually the most powerful under melee. We have the Status Warhammer, the VLS as well, Vessel Longsword, which can just absolutely decimate people. We'll see those more in the 1v1 finals. For this part, the multi-phase, before the 256 final players get put across that 1v1, we're mostly going to see range and magic. Now, talking about the overheads as well, you have prayers, which reduce damage by 40%. So getting those prayers, but getting those prayers right is absolutely crucial to take the least amount of damage possible, whilst also making sure you're outputting the right damage to make sure your opponent's not praying the right thing. And right now, we're about to see a chest drop in another 15 seconds, Ben. And I wonder which team is going to nab it.
It'd be very interesting to see. Nice items for them.
Looks like Pure Mission still wants to try and get it and snake it out the corner.
He's still really trying hard, bless him. Hopefully he manages to, his time spent there pays off. So we've talked about spells, we've talked about melee, the chest is about to drop, see which chap manages to pick that up. Talking about range.
MSB guy, level 52 combat has somehow got it.
No,
if he dies now.
It was the 52
It is,
combat.
yeah, and he's running away right now. Can he tank it with no overheads? I mean, it's a one-man mission.
You can do it.
Go on, son. His whole team's running in now, trying to protect him as best they can, but he's low HP, getting caught in a barrage pile
Oh
too.
my god, I've just realised anyone that's in the Fountain of Ruin right now is not making it out of there alive.
No.
There is no chance.
They've got a little narrow pathway going over that little bridge.
How are they keeping this level 52 alive for so long?
Absolute
He's tanking like a monster.
He's got no armour on, a magic short bow hitting back, but it's not
unfortunate.
enough. 52 hit points, can't really tank it
That was
at that point.
Blazers, I believe, who had managed to pick that up. Unfortunately, has failed. So does that mean that Blazers are this whole force right here?
I think Blazers might be in the centre of Anakal based on names that we've seen, but it's very difficult for us to remember. Of course, before the final takes place, people like to change their names before going in to make sure they've got the best chance of not getting sniped by opposite clans. Should we talk a little about the clans now as well?
Oh, actually, yeah. You talk about clans, and I've got some interesting stats I'd like to go over once you finish, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess we'll start with Blazers, since that's what we're talking about. I went with Blazers along this week, a little PKing with them and such. Had a lot of fun. So the OD Blaze Alliance with OT and DL formed the last tournament. Manked on stage, as we said before, is representing Blazers, and they're also teaming with Fools, the Finnish Warriors, for the final as well. An alliance to make sure they've got the best chance of getting through to that final phase. They started the week by having a bit of agility pyramid lockdown to get the money coming in nice and quick, printing money pretty much. Yeah, definitely. And then they locked down MM2 as well as a lot of God Wars dungeons, trying to get the best in-slot items they possibly could.
Ooh.
They also had other streamers such as Alfie going for DS2, Dragon Slayer 2 for the Dragon Crossbow, which you spoke about earlier. Obviously, most powerful range weapon pretty much in the game, apart from the Armadillo Crossbow as well. And I have a little quote from Blazers, actually, that I want to read out.
Oh, I can't wait for this one. You read it out earlier, and it is beautiful.
We knew if we got Dragon Crossbows and Sufferings, we'd have a great chance in the final hour. Our men fought hard, bolt for bolt, D-sim whack for whack, and achieved our goals of multiple rings of Suffering and Dragon Crossbows. With these rings forged in the fires of Ape Atoll and kitting our snipers with Dragon Crossbows, we aim to blaze the competition and leave them scorched as they fall, only to see lines of ODB spam. I cannot wait to see how these guys do.
What a beautiful tale. Thank you so much for that, Ian. Wonderful.
Another clan now, of course, Fools as well, the Finnish Warriors. They've won multiple tournaments in the past, favourites to win, over 100 members, as we spoke about earlier as well. They also have several AGSs, and they've been grinding out God Wars Dungeon for quite a while now to get the best in slot gear possible. They spent money on Justice and another guy called Seppo to come to Runefest last year, which is where we met them, and they sent 40 plus Fools members on a cruise.
Why don't we actually listen to what Fools are up to at the moment and have a quick...
Can we understand what they're saying is the question, but I mean, we can give it a go.
I mean, we can see. We'll look at, even if not, we can look at Fool's Justice and figure out what's going on in his actual gameplay here. So we can kind of hear him here. Interesting setup that he's got.
Definitely. So I believe he's rocking the full tank. He's got a DFS on. He's got the Armadillo plate body potentially as well, and a Zuriel staff. Inventory-wise, he has Phoenix necklaces, which break upon impact. He gets down to low HP and healing for amount of damage.
They can also nullify their damage as well.
Yeah, they do. Exactly. Absorb some damage hits as well, which is really crucial.
I believe that one of the things that we heard from All-Stars is a lot of people, when we talk about items, who weren't too familiar with them. Phoenix necklace, you'll see that in someone's inventory. It's the gold necklace with a kind of like silver gem sat within the middle of it, okay? That's a Phoenix necklace. It has a special proc. It's an item that when you get down to a certain amount of HP, it will break.
Yep.
The break effect of that necklace will absorb any of the damage that you would have taken, and then it will heal you up for another percentage.
Now,
So
of course, you can't rely on the Phoenix necklace either, though, because you can just get killed above 20% HP
just
before
like
it
a
breaks.
ring of life, I believe that's at
Definitely.
10% HP. The Phoenix necklace works at 20%
Yep.
HP, but if you get overhit, it's completely useless and you've wasted inventory slots. So kind of a risky thing to take, but also very good if you're taking the smaller hits. And in all honesty, when you're in these multi-zones, unless you're being the one that's completely focused down with ranged attacks, the AoEs that you're going to be getting that are coming through from Magic, it's not going to be enough to hopefully kill you in one hit, so you should be okay. The ranged hits that are going to be coming through, unless they're using crossbows and really focusing you down, you're going to be getting hit by chin chompers. Those of you that don't know what a chin chomper is, it's a furry little creature. In old school RuneScape,
They're really
were
cute, aren't
absolutely
they?
brutal.
Why do people throw them and they
I
explode
don't
on
know.
impact?
We
that
literally-
cute little creature, poor thing.
Yeah, you light a fuse, you can imagine where that goes. Throw it out to your opponent, next thing you know, it's exploded and then it hits in an AoE radius. So if you do see these big orange explosions, those are chin chompers being thrown. You'll see a lot of those. You'll see a lot of ice blocks being put out. That's not just because it's Christmas, it is the animation of the spell, and then if you do see the blood kind of like squirting up from people's heads, that's because it's blood barrage.
Oh my gosh. We have a few tweets coming in too. As a reminder, guys, hashtag #DeadmanWinter to get involved on social media. We have Let's Get This Spread at Fools Justice, one of the favourites to win on stage and from Fools themselves. Another thing to say about Fools real quick to finish up on them is they are proud Finnish warriors, and they're only teaming because they have to, apparently. Because all the other teams have squared up to try and take them down.
Okay.
Another
But I believe
chest falling in.
they kind of like ran solo up until this point, though.
They
They're only
usually do,
teaming
man,
for the
yeah.
final hour.
Definitely.
That chest there contains a Dragonfire shield. So
that is
looks like we have
huge.
trapdoor only taking that Dragonfire shield. A very nice tank item there for him. Having a look at the heat map now, you can still see these two teams. We received information before, so this team just over here.
Yep.
So that would be, I don't know, like my left, your right, something
see.
like that. That I believe is Mika's team. So
okay,
the team that
so
Mika's
lit, and we talked about before, potentially.
yeah, which would then probably suggest that we're looking at, you know, maybe Blazers sat within the
In the
within
Anacon
the
area
ruins.
already, so they're defending right now.
And that's not typically something that we see. Normally we'll see teams that are kind of like spread apart. So you'll have one here, which they are right now, and there'll be another team sat around about here until the zone closes in.
They get sandwiched in, don't they?
Yeah,
They can't really do much about that.
But now, whatever has happened, whether there's intel, you can see there's a few spots around the map. It might be that they have scouts, but whichever team has managed to lock down Anakal at this point realizes that they're not going to get taken from the other side. So they have the advantage at the moment. They've got the
definitely.
high ground. They've got the prayer restoration effect, which I believe happens within Anakal
It does,
as well.
yes. It's a very good thing to point out, actually. When you're inside the ring, inside the ruins themselves, your prayer does restore slowly, which can save you on a few prayer potions and such. But the best thing about defending that area is that you can stand your ground. These players are trying to get away from the fog, which will instant kill them if they don't move fast enough. So they have
And they're really just able, if they just stand their ground, if they're able to play the defensive
to
game.
freeze some people far enough away with the Ice Barrage spell, like we said before.
Completely, and then before you know it, those teams, every single person that gets knocked out is a massive impact. You can see here now we have a huge force that have been moving towards the safe zone in Falador. It's the statue just north of the famous town where you go and kill all of the guards for clue scrolls.
Oh, fantastic. This brings back the memories. Also, yeah, I remember coming here so much. But already, is that action taking place? A few chinchombers being thrown?
It seems like, yeah, I've just had info that this is Fools coming through, and it's probably the fact that they just want to absolutely clear it out and lock this down for themselves.
So they're sitting southwest. Now, the best thing about defending this area is that southwest actually is a singles area. But look at the move as one massive unit. Shows the communication and just how well of a tight-knit community they are. They've been PKing for so many years now. They've had practice in all kinds of worlds. But one thing to watch out for especially is that there's a few snipers in the midst, you know, waiting inside the clan chat. Somehow they've made their way inside, and they're going to try and pick off the higher levels as best they can, you know, trying to dwindle down their supplies. So when the other clan comes in, they can actually finish them off nice and quickly.
Not only that as well, but poor old Billy Bob, who's been playing all week on his own, just wants to have a good time in the tournament, suddenly realizes there's 150 people in front of him. He's probably going to try and sneak in there and go unnoticed so that he's not going to fall straight away. You can see that there's a few little damage splats coming out. That's probably because of what's happening.
And right now, the team that is protecting Anakal, we think's ODB Alliance, just south of them, actually, another chest is going to spawn very soon. So they're able to lock that one down very easily. And if anyone tries to snipe that chest, well, they can get all their players to run a little bit south and shoot the enemies over the lava river, which will be pretty interesting as well. We were talking about Lit earlier as well, potentially being to the east, that massive clan with Mika inside them. So they're previous winners as well. They've won quite a few tournaments. They formed huge alliances in the past, known as Cold, which we've seen over and over again just decimate the competition. They rushed KBD at the start, one of the wilderness bosses, because you get such good rewards from them. And they've got a smaller team this time, they said to us at least. Go on.
I'm really sorry, Ian. I'm looking at this guy's name. It's incredible. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. I'm like, what an absolute
Who
legend.
needs Harry Potter? We've got Harry Potter. It's
and
brilliant.
Just next to him as well. Really smart attack. The guy in the Mystic hat actually got the bear attacking him, so he can't really attack the other players. And the princess guarding the supply drop that's about to drop. What comes from this chest drop then, Ben?
So this being the last chest drop of the tournament, we are going to be looking at the Infernal Cape and a Fury Amulet.
Oh, wow, that is huge. Obviously, Infernal Cape, I don't think anyone's gone for that on the tournament in the past, at least. And the Infernal Cape gives you an extra 2 or so max hits with melee. So if you've got the VLS for the finals, you've got those massive special attack weapons. It can be the extra 2 hits that you need of damage to actually KO your opponent and not have to outlast them as well. I can't wait to see who gets one of those.
Blow Up is the one that has got the bear next to him. So before you move on to the clan, let's get a little bit of a social plug. Geeky Manchild. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sitting here wearing a Legend of Zelda tie, so, you know, big up the geeky man children out there. Production levels are on point at 2018 #Deadman Winter Tournament. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to ESL for doing a fantastic job, as always,
massive
and obviously
props.
Jagex for hosting the event.
Yeah, it's always great to be here, be invited out. This beautiful studio out in Leicester. And all the audience as well for coming out here today. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for tuning in at home as well, guys. And
I'll clap as well. Come on, audience.
Thank you.
You can clap. You can clap louder than
Cheers
that.
for coming, lads.
All right, now we just stop. You asked 3 times and it's a bit too much. Just want to point out one thing here. You're seeing the chest drop happen in a different location. That's because the final chest does actually drop in 2 separate places. So yeah, here at Anakal, just over the lava river, and then we also have the one that was further down near where was it? The tower with the princess, and you do a quest.
Yeah, near Camelot as well.
Yeah.
Moving on quickly, I want to talk about a few other clans. Who got this drop, actually? Let's find out exactly who got them. Level 92, potentially. I would like to pronounce that name, but I can't. Someone's called him Khan. And did Harry manage to get himself... Oh, I think
Harry
he did. He just
Potter.
dropped himself the glory on the floor, which means he's got the Fury. But is he wielded the Infernal Cape? He's going to keep it a secret as somebody snipes out too early on. But obviously, he's only 100 in combat. I say only.
Oh wow, a lot
it's
of action
happening
going on
already.
here. The clans have really just pushed themselves in. You can see the damage hitting across. I wonder how many people had fallen before we managed to catch this. Looking at the heat map now, both of those clans have completely merged. They are all in thick within the action right now. You can see so many players getting down low HP, a huge clump of players. Absolutely incredible scenes.
And if you look at the top left of the screen right now, with 800 players remaining, that's going to fall dramatically and very quickly too. Now, the opponents from the east will be trying to wrap around the defending opponents, trying to get in there as best as they can. But the defending opponents seem to be taking way more damage splats. I really can't tell which way this is going right now. Green Cow, level 65, somehow tanking it with only 61 hit points. Absolute legend right there.
Looking around at the scenes, you can just see people dropping left, right, and center. Literally everywhere you look, someone is dying.
I mean, you step the wrong place right here, you get frozen in place, you get people catching hits on you. There's not much you can really do, really. And yeah, right now it's just a battle of the communication, trying to move your players around, kind of look at your mini-map, seeing who is near you, which clan's near you, if you can actually help out in any way, shape, or form. Look in the middle as well. We see a bunch of people just sitting in the corner, right in the center of the ruins, just keeping themselves there for as long as they can, letting their little, you know, the grunts of the team go forward and act as cannon fodder in a way, you know, trying to take out as much damage as they can, as waste the opponent's supplies.
I just can't believe how many people are dying here. It looks like there's so many people. Guess
There
what?
are
so many more. There's only so many people that we can load on the screen at one point. That's literally how many there are here. But you can kind of see what we were talking about earlier, where the teams start to shift around in like a anti-clockwise rotation. The coordination between them now has to be absolutely on point. One step out of place, and you've got potentially 150 people ready to cast a hit on you, and you're dead.
We can see so many blood spells actually coming out now as well. The little red pieces of blood flying into the air. That's the blood barrage, which also heals you at the same time. Great tactic to use to, you know, secure your supplies, be able to keep them on for as long as you possibly can. 775 players remaining now.
Look at all the different pets that are around. I'm seeing an agility pet, that little squirrel.
No,
the cute little Santa hat as well.
Getting yourself a pet on the tournament, and after today, it's all gone. It's completely finished from the game. You can't get it back again.
Feels bad, man.
Literally, man. We see a cat walking around as well. He's like, what am I doing here? Why did you bring me to this? In the middle right now, again, that clan, I see it. A really interesting tactic used last time by Lit as well. Right in the middle of the ruins, you can see at the top of the screen, next to the Dead Man Winter sign, just waiting there, sitting in there, not being attacked by anyone.
If you sit in the middle, there are 2 ways to get in, and those are complete
and you can't really get out. Yeah, definitely.
As long as you've got like a member of like 10, maybe even 15 people in there, all it takes is each of you to hit her once on an AoE attack, especially if you get an Ice Barrage, you can freeze them, and that's instant perishable moment for them.
Oh, now northwest of Falador, this team has to make a move now. We're Fools on the prowl in the defensive spot, keeping their stand right here. They don't want to make any mistakes at the moment, and straight off the bat, one person steps into line a bit too close, and bam, off go the Chinchompers, off go the barrages, and it's just too much for the opponent's teams to handle. And look at people are falling so quickly, much faster than Anakal as well. Fools really doing work at the moment, and they're keeping their ground absolutely sensationally well.
Completely ridiculous. There's so much damage flying out here. As you said, Fools doing a fantastic job of holding the ground, not even having to move. It might be because they're frozen, but I really don't think it matters because they've managed to thin these numbers out so much so quickly. Looking at the heat map here, there's no need to go over to it at the moment because there's so much action, but I can actually see another team. They're about to come in from the south, reaching up towards the north. We're going to have Fools being pinched by 2 separate clans. Now, was this a special tactic? Were they both teams, or is it just a random that just managed to put themselves in that position at the perfect time?
See, now it's absolutely crucial that Fools regain their ground, move to the side, and manage to get themselves out of this position because, you know, 1 versus 1, I'm sure Fools are more than capable of taking it, but 2 versus 1, they don't like those odds.
There's an Armadillo pet there. Someone has got what? Kriara pet.
The Kriara pet. Well, there must be a few AGSs and Armadillo items in the game as well. I believe Fools were camping them before. And interestingly, right now, actually, you know, revolving round, not as many people right in the center, trying to regain their positionings and just, you know, seeing what they can do with those Chinchompers. Seeing a lot of Blood Barrage spells, again, flying in right now. And it's just utter and absolute chaos, isn't it, Ben?
It is completely. Normally, when we're in these stages, it takes quite a long time for us to build up to the point where people are fighting. However, due to the changes of the fog going in a little bit faster, clans get in their position a lot better. These fights just happen so much quicker. And look at everything. The numbers are just falling. We've gone down to 725. I'm sure that's going to update very soon. We can see people just... There's just so much collateral damage.
No, absolutely. And looking at Anakal right now, we see 2 forces, 1 north, 1 south. And very soon, we'll have a bit of a stalemate situation, what we normally see. A lot of the high-level players don't want to really get stuck into action a bit too quickly. So if they get out of place by 1 step even, get frozen, they can literally be just 1 hit from full hit points down to 0. A whole week's worth of work, grinding out your stats, grinding out the gear, just to be finished like that.
Completely. And talking about gear, I mean, some of the clans here have spent hours getting together their gear. We've got people in terms of like PvP weapons, for example. How many do they have as a percentage? Tartar have 30% of all PvP weapons in the entire game.
Well, they smashed out the wilderness off the bat, weren't they? Keeping control throughout, trying to make sure they've got those weapons for the 1 versus 1 finals.
They're followed closely by Fools, however. 19% of all PvP weapons belong to them. Blazers have 15%. Randomers have 12%. Looking at Lit, we have 12%, CT 6%, Execution 5%. However, I think in this moment of action, I'd really like to see what one of our players on stage is up to and how they're handling it.
All alive still and doing so well as well. Should we jump into Boaty's action right now? He is with, looks like potentially Fools or GG potentially. I think actually no, he's with GG. He was trying to go with Fools, they didn't accept him. He's not finished, but right now doing his best. Are we actually listening to the call at the moment?
We can definitely hear him a little bit at some point.
Yeah, let's have a listen then.
Okay, we're good. 67. It's all right. I can risk that. It's fine.
I think this is the
39. That's a heal. Oh shit! Wrong potion.
Oh, naughty word there.
Heal. Keep healing.
He's not really doing much damage right now, though. Just trying to focus on keeping his HP nice and high.
He has plenty of brews to see him through this, as well as using the Blood Barrage when he can.
And look at that coordination, running all the way north, all in one big movement.
It's what we were mentioning before, how they kind of like, you know, they do go round that clockwise or anti-clockwise motion around the square, just as when their opponent moves. And look at the damage that just flew out from them.
Should we jump into Manct as well right now? One of the other favorites, the Northwest. He's sticking around Anakar right now. Looking at the minimap as well, the purple dots are part of his CC. The white dots aren't, and the white dots are rushing in all of a sudden. There's so many more. And he's keeping out the corners, looking for food, trying to make sure he's, you know, got as many supplies as possible.
Yeah, purple dots trying to stick together as much as possible. You can see it. It's just like almost like a warren of ants, just maybe 2 different nests attacking one another, because the white dots have really got themselves thick within the group, and that's probably because of the fact that their numbers have dwindled. You can see here a lot of Fool's Mika being posted out there.
I mean,
seems like they've came out on top of that fight.
Curtis as well right now. His supply is looking real nice. I had a little look at Bo's supplies a second ago, and Adam's not looking the best. You see sharks on the floor. Is he going to go for them? No, it's a bit too risky, I should think. But a lot of supplies left. 554 players remaining, so about halfway of a chance to get into the final 1 versus 1. Only 200 156 players will make it through to the 1v1 area. That's 128 from each area. Now, Fool's Justice, look at that inventory right now. He has absolutely stacked himself up. He's just sitting back, enjoying himself, letting the team do what they need to do. And obviously, he's kitting out one of some of the best gear possible, the DFS, the Armadillo armor. And he's got a really high chance now, if he gets through that 1v1, to actually make it all the way through and win that grand prize. He wants to see Fools winning again, taking some more money home to go on that nice little hotel cruise, whatever they wanted to do.
But I think that we're going to, pretty much hire out a huge house and have 70 people or so.
Did you see that? I think Manx, actually, before we went back to the screen, he had a quick trade with one of his members and was given more supplies.
What an absolute beast. We've got a message coming in from Too Many Snipers. Wow, that is a massacre. Yeah, it really was. Esports are crazy. Hashtag #DeadmanWinter. Thank you for that, Too Many Snipers. Just an absolute mad scene that we just saw a moment ago. We're down to 550 players remaining. Not long left to go now until we're at the top 256. I just want to quickly touch on some of our influencers, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, rating them by combat stats against one another, Mika is #1 overall against all other players. MMORPG comes out #9 overall, and then Manked is looking at #19 overall.
Number 19 in stats. That surprises me, because I think he was one of the first players actually to get max stats in the game. But I believe at that point he started to go out, go PKing, get himself a few max sets, slay out the competition, and just have a fun week in general, really. That's what he lives for, really, the PvP aspect of the game mode.
So that works off their kind of like combat rating. We've got a list of all influencers here. Feel free to interrupt me if anything interesting does happen on the screen. I'm sure it will.
It's an absolute carnage at the moment. Hard to really see what's going on.
Left, right, center.
Yeah, just walking around in nice little circles and trying to move forward, and just wait for that stalemate position to take place. But it looks like both teams really, they just want to, get in the mix, get stuck in, get the best chance possible for their high-level players to get through.
I'll give a quick shout out to all the influencers that we have knowledge of that are playing at the moment. I'm going to get through this list really quickly, so that's Speedfire it, Mika, MMORPGRS, Voss, Ia Mary, Manked Up Mage, Fools Kembo, Bitter, DMM Freak Show, You Never Learn, Robert, Foe, Fools Justice, Boaty, Torvesta, Nate Bra, Money, Alfie Rules, C Engineer, Skill Specs, Drake C, Nightinator, Perp, Graphist, Ia Mary, and back. A lot of great people here. I believe Nightinator is actually within the audience.
Nightinator's.
So
I saw her earlier.
Interestingly, actually, Nightinator didn't rank that far behind Racy, in terms of combat stats, so maybe would have had a good chance, but...
Might be her first time in the 1v1 finals as well, I believe.
I mean, last time, I think every time I've seen Night...
She's screaming from the crowd. I don't know if she's
in an interesting way.
Saying hello.
Hello over there, Night.
Unless she's on mobile and somehow, getting through all the competition. Absolute beast.
Getting advantage of that live action without the 5-minute delay. Back into the carnage is what's happening currently at Anacol, though.
And again, we just see players kind of going into more of a stalemate position here, but still a lot of players that kitted out in like rune armor, and those guys, like I said before, the cannon fodder of their teams, going forward, the grunts, just trying to, get as much damage as possible, dwindle down the opponent's supplies, and oh my gosh, look, you can tell that's Fools in the middle. It must be Fools. Look at that coordination, how many chins are being thrown. If it's not Fools, I'll be terribly surprised.
They're doing a fantastic job. You can just see already 3 people died out there.
Experience, mate. It's just that's what it is. Over years and years of practice, every single weekend, going out with their clan, having fun, having a good time. But not to say that other clans haven't done this either. I mean, Cutthroat as well, being one of the other big teams that have been around for many, many years now. But they're in a new alliance. They've been struggling to work together, apparently. They played as solo clans until the final hour, and they're teaming up with a few other teams, such as Execution and Tartar, as we mentioned before. In the middle right now, still a few players just trying to, get dropped. Oh my God, look at that stack. That guy in full Barrow's armor just gone
dropped
in literally a second from full HP bar to nothing. And that's when those, that communication and kind of making sure you focus on one player at a time to take them out, to put the most damage possible, to try and make it worthwhile. Because if you kill someone, they've still got loads of supplies left, then it's just, they've gone out much earlier than would have normally killed them.
We've got Shamed coming in here and saying, I have money on Gnome Child winning. Hashtag #DeadmanWinter. Hashtag Team Gnome Child. Well, the name definitely fits there, Shamed. I'm ashamed of that message. But thank you nonetheless. Just want to mention, if you do want to get your tweets up on screen, make sure you put the hashtag #DeadmanWinter on Twitter. And if you're not, do make sure you go and follow at OSRS PvP to stay up to date with all of the latest information, including things about Deadman and our players as well.
Absolutely, and now 450 players remaining of the 256 that will go through. It's getting so close right now. I wonder how the players on stage are actually doing, how their supplies are looking. But looking from before, I believe that Fool's Justice and Manx are in an absolutely fantastic position.
Remember we were talking before about the people in the middle got the advantage of having the pincer points. What happens if both teams decide to actually take on those people in the middle through those choke points? And you can see now that those
That's what they're doing. Look at that, right in the middle. Yeah, they're getting frozen in place, can't really get past there. Interestingly as well, I actually saw within those clumps, a couple of like snipers, know, a few assassins going in close, trying to clutch out, you know, dwindle down people's supplies again, like we said before. I've used the word dwindle like 50 million times today.
It's okay. We do it a lot here, Pure Spam.
It's just so hype and everything's going past so quickly. Looking right now, and here we go, the aggression from the northeast corner. And I don't know who this is. We can't tell, but I'm
pretty sure
going to
that
assume it's Fools again.
I think they've
these
realised.
guys, man, they're just absolutely decimating the competition right now, and just, you know, moving through, taking out a few people at a time, and they're going to probably the Falador area is going to be the first one to go in. They're very aggressive play style, usually not, you know, sitting back and waiting. They just go for it, and I think that aggressive stance makes people, you know, scared to fight them really as well.
Also, as well, if you're looking at it, you can clearly see that the numbers were definitely not in the favour of their opponent there. So it might have been a case of one of their callers had noticed that there was only a clump of maybe 10 people. It's like, now's our chance, let's push forward and take them out. You can see they're doing the same thing now by moving across to the other side, the bottom left-hand corner. There is a team towards the north in the top left-hand corner, but it seems as we see this all the time. They're going to rotate round. A few people are going to get stuck as they step forward into the next loading zone to figure out just how many players there are in that area. They might themselves, though, get stuck and end up perishing, but seems to have worked out quite well.
We're jumping into Boaty right now, who is looking very strong at all. He only has, what, 3 brews left. Switching off to the Arams potentially, try and get as much blood barrage as possible, but trying to move his clan. And here's the thing here. If these guys are just moving around in circles, they're not actually engaging in combat. Adam getting stuck in, that's what you need to do, mate. Get that HP back, take out the competition, make sure you get yourself a place in that final. He's been preparing all week for this thing. He's got, you know, pretty much max stats, pretty much maxed gear, a lot of it being donated, luckily as a stream of favoritism, but it doesn't matter. If he gets to the finals, he's proved time and time again that he deserves to be there. And we're looking at the KD ratio right now. He's actually got 18 kills, only 1 death. I don't know how many of those have actually been in the final, but I assume pretty much most, if not all of the kills have been here right now. So yeah, definitely showing himself that, you know, he definitely deserves to be here as well and being a really useful tool for his team that he's alliance with.
I believe he's taken out 10 opponents during the Permadeath stage. And when you're looking at around about 1,000 players in there, it's not bad. Like 1% per player within your team. If you can get 100 people that can kill off 10, doing a pretty damn good job.
No, absolutely. And look in the middle right now. Look at that clump. Those guys can get taken out so quickly. All the Chinchombers being thrown. I believe Chins is the majority of the hits that are being seen right now. Because obviously, you just get your range up to even 80 range. You can still do so much damage. The thing with Ancient Magic is you've got to do the quest for it. You've got to get 94 magic to use Barrage. It's a lot more time invested than everyone can do.
Yeah. And one thing that we didn't cover out here, sorry, just one ping there. 2 people just fell instantly. 1 person managed to survive, but I don't think it's going to last much longer. But we were talking about the combat triangle earlier. At the moment, magic defense is extremely strong within old school RuneScape. It's a thing within PvP that there's a lot of contention between it, because with Black D'hide, you can have a very high magic defense, even against someone that is wearing full max mage, using ancient magics and everything possible. So sometimes it's not actually worth it to use magic.
Oh, skill specs, level 102 combat. He's got 2 brews left. He's actually staying in this. This guy's with GG, the Solo Alliance. I believe Bloaty is also with him. So if skill specs goes through, I'm sure Adam will as well. And, you know, merit to him, man, to be able to stick it out this long. Only 375 players left. He's got to hold on a little bit longer. 100 players more need to fall. I don't know, man. Jay always brings out some interesting combos in the finals. I always say I want to see the full Dalrox 10 HP KO or something, but...
I can't wait to see it. He's not here, unfortunately, in person. It's always a pleasure to have him around. But he has been doing some fantastic streams. If you haven't already, do check out his channel. I want to quickly update you in terms of clan sizes before this hits the final 256. So as of 1 minute ago, Tartar looked to have a force of 82 players, Blazers with 68, followed by Fools with 67.
Oh, wow.
Clanless members, it seems like 61 aren't associated to any clans. Maybe we're going to see a lot of solo players get through to the final. Then we have Lit with 49 members, Mika's team at 43, CT with 27, and EX, or Execution, at 23. I think they've picked up a number, potentially. I believe there were only about 22 before. It might be that we've managed to figure out, because they weren't logged in at 6:30. It's now, obviously, you know, 20 to 9. The time's gone past a little bit, and we've managed to pick up an extra player that's been caught on the system.
Now, respect the clan towards the east right here, standing their ground, actually fighting back, despite a lot of the members falling. But now, they're trying to hightail it out of there. And the Barrows guy is going to fall very quickly. And obviously, if you actually die for Barrows at this stage of the game, you can pick up that gear, the best in-slot gear pretty much in the tournament available right now. It doesn't get broken. You can wield it and take it into the final with you. So, you know, taking part in this multi-part right now and, you know, getting as best gear you possibly can is definitely a very wise strategy to do.
Yeah, for sure. You want to be able to, obviously, and if you haven't got it, pick it up because it's there. It's not broken like it is in a normal game. There's a lot of things like that are a bit different. We're going to have a look at Fool's Justice now, I believe. Not listening to the audio, though, so we'll try and talk about here.
Restores left. So obviously he's got bruised, but he's being sniped by the guy with the... Oh no, he's being
gonna be pushed
speared
out.
into the... No way.
No, this can't happen.
He's trying to drop his items, I think. He's bruised for other people, but he's being sniped.
Oh,
and I think now he's going to get one hit. No way.
Justice got pushed out.
He was sniped by the Vesta Spear, was that?
Wow.
The first one to fall. Who could have predicted that then? Fool's Justice putting up a great fight for his team. That is very unfortunate. We talked about earlier about snipers, going for certain players, and Justice was the first one to go and get picked off.
I hate to say it because I don't like being wrong, but it seems like I was, and Archie was right. He literally got targeted out. I'm going to be very interested to hear from Fool's Justice when this ends in terms of a little interview and how that came about. Where was his team? Why wasn't anyone there to defend him?
And he only just didn't make it into the final few. So a few more seconds, if it would have lasted, he would have been completely okay. But obviously, the Spartan Warriors, I believe, we're going to talk about that strategy in a little bit before the 1v1 starts. There's a little strategy that one of the teams told me about. I believe it was GG. They were going for certain players like that with that spear mechanic and get them pushed out into the fog. When you hit into the fog, you get one hit KO'd.
Yep,
so
that
just
Dragon
very
Spear.
unfortunate.
What a fantastic tactic that was.
I know, right?
Who would have thought
Really
that in
clever.
that moment that people would save their special attacks, bring a Dragon Spear, and then coordinate to take out one of the clan members' most fed players?
Yeah, that is a very, very unfortunate for Fools. Of course, giving him the Suffering, giving him the DFS, the Armadillo, the ACB. He had so much gear, and he had max stats as well. But he's here. He's having a good weekend. We'll still celebrate later. And he's just happy to be here, I think, and representing Fools. Great to have him on the stage. He's put up a really good show as well.
So as well. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to see him, but yeah. Having a look at Mank now. So we're looking to avoid any confusion. If you guys are wondering why is no one left back at Falador, it's because we take the top 1, 2, 8 from each area. So we've taken 1, 2, 8. We're from Falador already, but we're now waiting for these two teams to kind of like finish up. Mank is...
He's an absolute machine. He's just going straight in for it, leading his force. One of the most snapped players of his team, making it into the 1v1s. He'll have a very good shot.
Look at how many brews he has. He's still got a Phoenix necklace. He has restores. He's not bothered.
There's another 40 players that need to fall here. Obviously, we saw before, in the middle, there are a lot that are just sitting there, haven't been targeted. Really smart strategy. I believe it was Lit that did that last time, and potentially could be sitting there again. But Mank right now, leading his team into victory, potentially, to get through to the final 1v1 stage. And he is looking real strong. Listening to the symphonies in his headset, a few orchestral pieces, I believe, is what he said at the All-Stars to make him sure his nerves are calmed.
I think he said that he's going to be streaming, so he's going to have to listen to normie music. So I wonder whether he's going to kind of like go against the trend and play what's best for his
he is so focused right now. We have a tweet coming in from Made It Boom. Holy, that Infernal Cape in the chest. Poggers. Yes, you can get items from the chest, but I believe that Infernal Cape is probably long gone at this point.
I believe so, and it's probably the only time that you can get an Infernal Cape without completing the Inferno before getting smacked down by the old J-Mod hammer.
And here we go again, the team with Mank just going round, trying to pick off a few of these stragglers. If you take them down with just one extra player, they can't make it 1v1. Yeah.
The Stranglers? Stragglers.
Stranglers, I said, didn't I?
I thought you said Stranglers. I was like, wow, this is a very violent video game, Kiosk fan. Then again, we are throwing animals and exploding them and sucking people's blood out of them and also smacking them with bolts and weapons. So
looking into the middle again, mate. Look, there's so many people in that team that are just kitted out in absolute max gear and aren't being targeted whatsoever. I'm really surprised they've gotten away with that. But at the same time, is it worth risking your whole clan running in, getting through that little entrance to the middle? I don't think it's really worth risking it, is it? Because you can just all wipe out in just a second.
I really want to find out more info from clans when I get a moment and just ask them what goes through their mind when they're talking in terms of communications. There's a lot of time at points where people are hesitant to talk to me before because of being affiliated with Jagex. Now that that's not the case, come on guys, give me all the info, I need it. We have had information to say that Boti and Torvesta have both made it through.
Oh wow, congratulations to him then. He was going with GG, the Solo Alliance.
Foe as well.
Wow, Foe
has made it through. So I'm sure that we'll be seeing on a YouTube video coming near you
I have
from
something to say about Foe actually. Foe, I can say it now, he changed his name.
Sorry. Skill Specs made it through.
No way! Congratulations
102.
to him, man. I'm sure a lot of people are happy at home to hear that one. And maybe if Torvesta has as well. Did you say Torvesta made it?
Torvesta versus Skill Specs.
I know, right? That'd be the most epic finale to finish off with.
Here we go.
Foe actually, he changed his name in-game to the Finnish word for Iron Fox. And he actually intercepted, went into the clan, Fools, and was able to, go inside them and actually get through to the finals. He's got Vengeance, he's got absolutely max stats as well. So he's got a really good chance to really make it quite fun.
He really has, and he did did pretty good as well in All-Stars, and a lot of people thought that he wasn't going to be able to. So interesting to see how that pulls out. Did you say that he infiltrated Fools, or was he actually playing alongside them?
I think he's playing alongside them, but obviously no one really
I was
knew
going
it
to
was
say,
him.
if he managed to learn
name.
Finnish within like the space of a few days and was in with the TS,
I think he was tweeting out earlier actually that he couldn't manage to find the what's it called, a Rosetta Stone kind of guide to learning Finnish. Wasn't one available for him, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
But maybe next time, and he must be so happy with that one as well. Now a bit of a stalemate taking place. Only 20 players need to die right now in this finale to make it through to the 1-versus-1 final. And like we saw before, if someone steps out of this quadrant, they get one hit by the fog. I believe the fog will start to move in slowly as well and start to consume these players too if it drags on a little bit too long. But I imagine only 20 players left. It's probably going to happen quite quickly.
It's probably at the point now, I'd imagine, that clan members are saying, okay, who are our weakest players left? Let's get rid of them, because they want to take through their strongest.
You don't want to make a mistake here, because if you do, I mean, it's so close, just like you saw with Justice, making it just a few members left, and he could have got through to the finals.
He got tool vested. Basically.
Literally, yeah, through the cave.
Yeah, we've got Paige Crawley 3 coming in from Twitter. Date night, and we're watching the final. Hashtag Deadmanwinter.
Relationship goals.
Yeah, my kind of date. Pretty decent.
You want to watch it back later, Ben? At the hotel.
Well,
offer you can't reviews. We have 30 seconds until the fog is going to start closing on these players, at which point they're going to be forced to, engage in combat. Otherwise, it's going to be just a matter of who has the most supplies left over. And in the middle right now, we see a few players actually trying to take out the competition. What we normally see here as well is actually, the lower level players within the teams being sacrificed.
Oh, they're now actually killing their own team members. So
that's what I mean, yeah,
running forward. Maybe he doesn't want to die though, so he's valiantly leaving his Protect from Prayer up, eating all of his food, but they are having to take out their weakest.
Or maybe this is some of the alliances that have been formed already, and there's a bit of, within the alliance, people are like, oh, actually, I don't like you anymore. You've only got a few players left.
You're like,
take these guys off.
I helped you till now, but you're the fool, for I am going through.
Anyway, in the middle right now, still that clan just being untouched, and they must have full supplies. They've got the best chance of, surviving throughout this fog. The fog is going to start hitting low amounts, but now, towards the east, towards the south, the team at the northwest are being pinched at the moment and just trying to stay alive as long as possible. We see a CT name there, which I wonder if it's actually CT or someone trying to pretend to be CT. I'm not too sure on that one, but again, just running around, trying to make sure no stragglers get left behind. But if they do get left behind, they're going to get picked off so quickly. And just a waiting game right now to see who's going to make it through.
Mm-hmm. We must only have at least 2, 3, maybe 4 people that are waiting to go off. The number, we've definitely seen people die before that number has been updated, so we do have to give it a few seconds. I'm pretty sure, though, within, the next minute or so, we're going to be heading over. It looks like this is a person who has been selected for sacrifice.
And
hopefully it was a oh, it's Robert!
Now. Is that Robert?
Is it Robert?
No! I think Robert's he's fine.
Right,
he's alive still. His inventory is looking somewhat decent
Robert's
as well.
just gone underneath him, maybe trying to snipe all that last bits of food.
Yeah, but he's going to get hit if he's not careful, get frozen in place, and the other team's going to snipe him. But no, Robert's out of there in good time.
I think they're picking off their own team members at this point.
So?
Trying to just force it through. It must be, because no teams are kind of coming to one another. However, I'm a little bit interested as to why they bother wasting time eating food. I mean, it's just going to be lost.
Here is the fog slowly hitting 5s and taking these players down. Any supplies they have left right now. This is when you want to get stuck in, be able to do damage and eat food at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, someone just fell there. He didn't even have nothing left. And just like that, there was 2 people.
You were so close, yet so far. Bless
Sorry,
them. There we go.
Jake.
That means 2, 5, 6 players have made it through to the 1-versus-1 finals. And very shortly, we're going to witness that. That was an absolutely fantastic and stellar performance by all the clans
really was.
in the multi-phase.
I have to say that is safely the most action-packed final that we've ever had so far.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of complete decimation. Clans from each side. My favourite moment, I reckon, was the point where the 2 teams at the Falador statue were fighting one another. One team coming in from the gate. What's so funny?
Sorry, I was looking at Curtis's face. He's just smiling and making a little face. He must be so over the moon of getting through to the 1-versus-1 final again. Mankton Bowie joining him, of course. Sorry, continue.
No, he does definitely look very happy. But I was just saying, back to my point of the most favourite moment, we're at the Falador gate, Falador statue. Those 2 teams come in, but next thing you know, the little squad.
Yeah.
Pull up from the south up towards
to Fools, I think it was at defending
to
the
Fools,
time.
and it's just instant pinch.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for that, then potentially Justice might have just managed to make it through. But they were feeling, very
it's just the way the
confident
cookie crumbles at the end of the day.
They were just feeling very confident trying to defend that position, having that multi-experience and such. But I mean, we have so many content creators, like you said before. Obviously, the 2-5-6 finale is proving very, very positive for a lot of players. And again, I do feel bad for Justice, but I think a few Fools members would have made it through. We'll hopefully, get a bunch of information sent over to us in terms of which teams have made it through, how many of each have done so.
Well, I'll keep an eye on that as and when we can. But Wow, I don't really know what to say about that. What was your favourite moment?
My favourite moment? To be honest, man, towards the end, it's pretty hard to see what's going on. But I think not my favourite moment, but the most surprising moment was, like I said before, Justice falling just short. And that D-spear mechanic was amazing. Now, we're talking about one of the mechanics that we talked about but by ourselves before this tournament started. And one of the clans called GG told me they had the Vesta Spear squad. So the Vesta Spear is a PvP weapon that when you use a special attack, it rebounds damage dealt to you on players around you. So maybe that's why a lot of the Fools members fell straight away. They had a bit of a, an assassination squad that infiltrated into the opponent's forces, put up the special attack, and then realistically, they just suicided. They got focused by their own team, which did more damage around them. And we didn't get to see it pan out as we thought we would because there was just so much carnage and just too much going on at once.
But I mean, it must have worked because we saw at the end Fool's Justice being speared out. Big props to the Spartan squad if they managed to pull off that incredible move. It's almost as if we're back in the medieval times and strategy is becoming a real thing. You can clearly see there are parts of strategy, though, with the coordination and communication that teams have and the placements and everything like that. When they're all moving in, they're moving in together. Fool's Justice with his head down. Probably sending a message over to his mum saying, really sorry I didn't make it. Well, hopefully, though, it's not over for Fools.
Nah, man. I mean, we've seen them come through and, take it regardless. Now, I don't know if Kembo's in the final as well. He's one of their strongest PKs as well, taking a few tournaments that aren't officially organised by the players themselves. He's also got max gear, and there's a few other players that do. I think that actually Fools are one of the only teams that really attempted a lot of God Wars Dungeon. They have like 4 or 5 ACBs, several Armadillo sets as well in their hands, best in slot gear, by a long mark as well compared to Barrows.
That's a lot of defence as well for almost all stars, just sitting in Armadillo.
Yeah. And if any Blazer members as well made it through, or the Alliance rather of ODT, them and Fools both were the only teams actually to make sure they managed to do Monkey Madness 2. So I believe that Manct actually might be the only person on stage that has a Ring of Suffering, which automatically gives him like a 3 or 4 food advantage because of how much the recoil does.
It's just like that.
It's huge, man.
Pretty damning advantage indeed. Let's have a quick look at some of the things that happened in the build-up to the 1v1s, which we're going to be heading into in a moment's time.
Oh, remember that? That's my favourite moment right there, Ben, when you asked me a second
Only
ago.
Nightmare Zone. Oh, that's us.
Oh,
whoa, that's me.
You're looking absolutely daft.
All right, I don't know what I was doing with my arms. I was trying to fly or something, but
this was the squad, GG, I believe, and Tartar, Execution. These guys, absolute mercenaries, so many of them going in, but they were actually attacking the Anakal, and I believe a lot of them actually made it through as well. I'm going to say this, I've said it quite a few times now, but I think every single team has quite a lot of members in the finale. Again, we should get that information fed to us at some point soon. That guy there, Colbian, bless him, almost getting through as well, trying to snipe that item, but once you get stuck in that maze, you can't really get out as a 1-by-1 entrance. And now, we said before, Fools were defending, we believe, at the Falador, but not able to get Justice through. Anakal, when this happened, we just had no clue what was going on. Chinchompas flying left and right, barrages hitting, blood barrages going off as well to heal themselves. And here, right now, I thought, yeah, Fools, they're looking so strong. Why would you show that replay? Bless. But then we got pinched, as you said before, Ben. There wasn't really much they could do. They had to completely change their strategy and maybe taken by surprise a little bit. When Justice did fall, just before the final 256 were taken from his area, the 5-128 rather, he was literally a mere matter of seconds before making it through, and that's really unfortunate for him. Same with goes to the guy in the middle right there with the dragon skirt, Jake. Bless him.
Yeah, unfortunate. It really interesting. Just watching the replay just reminded me of how ridiculous the build-up to this 1v1 has been already.
Yeah.
But it's not over, ladies and gentlemen, because we will be moving into the 1v1 stage.
This is only half the fight.
Yeah, so I'll talk to you a little bit about how that's going to work in just a moment. I do have some updated stats, so apologies, I'm going to have to look down at the screen to read this out. But hopefully, that's not too much of a problem for you. So as of around about 3 minutes ago, it looks like heading into the 1v1 stage, the final 256 is made up of 47 Blazers members.
Oh, wow.
46 Tartar members, 36 clanless, so just solo dudes out there.
Really?
Or dudettes. It's 2018.
Fair play.
Mika and his team, 34.
I think it's lit, but we're not too sure right now.
Potentially. Fools going in with 32 members, so still a good chance.
That's really good.
I might still be right, but it won't be Fool's Justice. It will be his team. We'll see. We then have Lit with 30 members, Executioner fell down to 15, and Cutthroat with just 12.
Oh, wow. So they had a massive alliance, Cutthroat, Tartar, and Execution, and clearly it didn't pan out the way they thought it would.
Okay, in terms of content creators that have also made it through, here we go. There's a pretty big list, probably the biggest that we've ever seen. We've got Manged Up Mage, obviously, as you can see on the stage. He did not fall. Our Robert made it through.
Fantastic.
Nate Bra has made it through as well. We've got Alfie Rules, C Engineer, Iomiri, Fool's Kembo.
Yes, he is a favourite for
Keep
sure.
an eye
My
out for
favourite
Fool's
right now
Kembo.
to win, apart from Manked, of course.
Foe also went through MMORPG RS, Deadman Mode Freak Show,
Previous winner.
Torvesta, Skill Specs, and Boaty.
Wow, that is an absolute all-star lineup. I cannot wait to see who takes the fights. And Adam here has been actually participating all day today, just chilling, streaming, getting comfortable.
Yep.
We did the All-Stars event a couple of weeks ago. I was also competing in it. And I tell you, having to run on and off the stage in between fights. Every time you get back on stage, the nerves run through you again, the adrenaline hits you. But he's cool, calm, collected, like I said before. He's just been chilling all day. And just this is where he's really in his element. He doesn't get spooked. He's been on stage before many times. Same goes with Manked and Curtis as well. All three of them have just got the same pretty much chance to get as far as they possibly can. And Curtis has improved so much as well. I don't know which team he's actually with today, because you mentioned he's with a team with Mika and there's Lit as well. Don't know if Mika's left Lit or if they're together anymore. But I was watching PK earlier as well, getting warmed up again, feeling really confident too. Now, Manked, another favourite, he went away from the All-Stars tournament the other week, made himself $20,000, and just the way that he concentrates, gets into the zone.
15-0? Does that ring
50,
any bells?
No, I mean, it might be 22-0 if he wins 7 fights consecutively in this finale.
Have to wait and
which,
see.
do you want to talk about now, actually, how this finale is going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. So, we're going to be going into 1v1 section. Each fight is going to be played one player against another. Everyone had their supplies from what happened just a moment ago. However, they do have 5 minutes to bank, which is why we're currently in the position of talking to you wonderful people at home and in the audience. In that time, they're going to be able to take out anything that they want. So a thing that I believe Archie touched on at the start, maybe even yourself, or it might have even been me at this point, who knows, one of us said it though, is that a lot of people have kept their really good equipment in the bank. So they have this opportunity now to pull that out, put together their best setups. They're going to have a very rough idea of who they're going to be going up against in the future, but they also know their opponent as well. So if they're aware of them by name, they might be able to put together a good setup, but this is the only opportunity that they're going to get to be able to bank. They can take out whatever food, whatever supplies they want for this first fight. So this first fight is entirely down to them. Nothing else about it. It's just them and what they pull out. As we progress through, obviously they're going to diminish those supplies and they're going to need to restock. However, restocking is not going to be done through a bank. It's going to be done automatically by the system. So they're going to be given a set amount of food, a set amount of potions, so these fights can't go on any longer than if everyone's just stacking like 20 Saradorin brews, which are a potion that can heal you for amount of HP plus a little bit more based on your, I think it's based off your HP level.
Based on HP level. 92 it heals you, I think, 16 per dose. So you're looking at 64 per inventory slot, as opposed to like a shark, I think it was 20.
Yeah, it's a it's a big difference, and it can make the fights just last that little bit longer. If the fights do get to a point where it seems like we've hit a bit of a stalemate and there isn't any damage being dished out, or people are trying to like delay or stall, then fog is going to start coming in. That's going to happen regardless. So I believe it's about 3 minutes into the fight, which is typically how long each fight should last. That fog's going to come through and slowly start building up, dealing more and more damage, just to ensure that we're not sitting there for 25 minutes watching two people dance.
And another thing to mention as well is, of course, in this 1v1 finale, if you are able to defeat your opponent in one of the stages, you get all of their loot. So let's say you do find someone that's an absolute titan who's geared up in the best gear possible, and you manage to somehow get a lucky KO, or you're just an absolutely amazingly skilled PKer and outmatch him. If you get his items, that can give you just a huge advantage going through towards the finals right now. But a lot of these players have, like we said before with Justice, has got max gear in slot. Manked as well has got absolutely insane gear. Boaty.
Into just the content creators, especially that have gone through there, if that kind of caliber of people have managed to get through, imagine what is out there in the clan. More skilled and different players.
And the majority of people are going to be at least 110 towards 120 combat. And so they're going to utilize their in-game stats to their best advantage. We're going to see Tri-Reading in this tournament. So you have overhead prayers as well. You have mage, melee, and range, as we touched upon before. So it's always a little bit of a game of chance. Was a game of kind of like trying to make sure your opponent prays the wrong thing and dupe them out, convince them to do the wrong thing, and hopefully maximize your damage output whilst also preventing your opponent from doing much damage on you, getting the right gear setups on, getting the best defensive gear depending on what attack style your opponent's using, and the best offensive and overhead prayers depending on what you're using. So it's going to be really interesting, man.
Especially, and I mean, a game that comes down to, you know, pretty much RNG at times, but you can help offset that by doing exactly what Pure mentioned, so it's definitely vital to do that. Seems like we've got the audience wonderfully shouting the countdown for us. Seems like we've got 2 seconds long until we go into the 1v1 stage of the the Deadman Winter 18 tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect time for me to remind you, if you haven't already, do feel free to follow at OSRS PvP. Stay up today. Boaty just hit a 60 with VLS Poe.
What a start,
What an absolute
buddy.
legend. Also, hashtag Deadman Winter if you want to get in touch with us.
And retaliated by Slay with a little VLS, but another stab from Adam hitting a 0, unfortunately. Now, the VLS has 4 special attacks, 25% for each one, and the VLS itself actually hits on 25% defense bonus of your opponent, so it can hit really accurately, even through the prayer. All the prayer does is it reduces damage by 40%, so still, if you get a big hit, you're still going to hit pretty big as well. Adam, obviously, this is his element. He's working really well here. Looking at inventory setups as well.
I was just about to say, I've just noticed, these guys have very similar gear.
Yeah, definitely.
However, I believe that Boaty's gone for a different tank leg. He doesn't have a DFS, so he doesn't have as much defense for Slay for Juggies.
And he's got like five different switches too.
Hold on, though. Boaty has a range potion. Slay for Juggies doesn't.
No, he forgot his range pot. That is huge. I mean, Slay for Juggies has got the DFS, like you said before, best tank shield pretty much in this tournament. Well, it is the best tank shield in this tournament right now. He's also got the ACB, which I believe only one Tartar member got, and I think 4 or 5 Fools members. So we can probably assume it's either Fools.
Juggies is from Fools. I've just had information to come
there
through,
we go. We have a Fools member versus Adam. This is not the fight you wanted for the first round. Definitely a difficult one, but if he can stay calm, and you can definitely get those big specs off. Right now, looking at inventory supplies, it's going to be a long fight. Obviously, full inventory of brews, each one healing 16 HP per dose. That's 64 hit points per potion. I would say one thing, and that is that this guy from Fools, he has definitely the favorable setup. He's got less switches, so he's got himself a little bit more extra food. But like I said before, that range potion is so important. But getting these step-ons right now, and a barrage utilizing a 20-second freeze. You get that freeze, you can step on, your opponent can't see what you're wielding, what you're praying, all that kind of stuff. So it gives you a significant advantage. We'll jump over to Curtis now as well, Ben. Over to you as well.
Yeah, so looking over in a moment when we can see it. For now, we'll just carry on looking at Boaty and Juggies, but we will move over to MMORPG very shortly. Here we go. Thank you very much for that, our wonderful cameraman. Really appreciate it. It looks like this N5D dude has got Guthans.
Guffin skirt, not the full.
Is that a Vestus Spear?
I think it's a Vestus Spear. Yes, a Vestus Spear. The special attack doesn't really work in these 1-versus-1 situations, but it's still a very hard-hitting, powerful weapon to use.
Yeah,
but is there any match for Curtis's hammer?
I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah, looking at Curtis here, MMORPG.
This is warm-up, man.
He's got like 20 combat levels on him, nearly 16. If I was to wait, no, 16 levels. It seems like that.
Yep,
if I do my math.
levels.
Cool. We got there eventually.
He's much stronger than his opponent, and he's absolutely making every second
Look at
count.
the supply difference here.
Yeah.
MMORPG did a fantastic job in All-Stars. He's had a lot of experience PKing now with all of the Deadman modes that he's done. Doesn't PK very much during the tournament, if at all. He just focuses on getting his stats, and you can see that it's paid off. This dude is maxed apart from prayer.
This is the luck of the draw, really. You get yourself a target like this in the first fight, and you're pretty happy. I'm guessing Boaty must be thinking right now, how have I got given an absolute, maniac from Fools, got all this gear that's possible to
And MMORPGs, they're like, oh, this is pretty good for me.
I wonder as well if his opponent's got a suffering, because I know that Fools did have quite a few sufferings. Oh, look at those fakies from his opponent hitting a 33 VLS. Now, VLS is incredibly accurate. It's actually more accurate than a God Sword, I'm pretty sure, as well as being, I think, 1 tick faster. So it's a little bit faster, a little bit slower than a whip, but it can deal huge amounts of DPS. Now, that freeze being caught for Adam, very unfortunate there, being frozen in place, and he's having to tank as best he can with only brews left there.
Are you brave enough to give Bean Boozled with 20 look-alike flavors? Some are naughty, some are nice. Is it barf or peach? Bean Boozled, the perfect stocking stuffer.
Hey, got a VLS? At least if you kill me, you get one. I'm okay with that, dude. If Fools kills me and upgrades to a VLS, it's a good day. But if this guy kills me, I want him to win the tournament, man. You will see. Yeah, he's got a VLS. That's alright, man. Jagex hosted me. What's up, boys? How we doing? Oh, man. Hey, where's the clip? It's gonna take a bit. Someone show me the clip from the last fight. We'll go ahead and show it. We got some time, I think. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of heads up. Go ahead and show it. Oh, hang on. Oh, they probably auto-hosted me. I'm not sure. There it is. Alright, how you guys doing? 50,000 viewers. This broke my record. This just broke my record, man. My record before is 43,000. What's up, boys? Check this out! This is how you win. Notice I haven't eaten any food. Yes. Let's go, baby! I didn't eat any food! Look, he's full health. Watch this. Diamond Bolt. VLS. Spec. Vengeance. He's done. That's it. Game over. Game over. That's the only time that's ever gonna happen, because this dude's about to fucking wreck me. He's in Fools, man. He's in Fools. That's okay, though, man. I'm happy dying to someone in Fools. Because you know why? They'll always give you respect from Finland, man. They'll always give you respect from Finland. Alright, boys. 52,000 viewers. It's time to run a 3-minute ad, because Jagex is gone. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna run a 30-second ad, and I want you guys to tell me all about it. And that's what Jagex gets for letting the stream go down. We're gonna watch a 30-second ad together, and we're all gonna hashtag sellout in the chat. Ready? Set, go. Oh shit, the fight's starting! Alright, there's the ad. Yo, if you're... ever be #1 on Twitch. What number am I on Twitch? Live channels. No! Wait, am I beating Ninja? Nah, he's got 56k. So
This is an opponent who had Mystics there, nice damage output.
And we're about to jump into the next phase in a moment, any second now. But first, over back to us just to talk about what we saw right there. Very unfortunate for Adam. I'd be kicking myself if I made that fight. I mean, the fights that you have for that first 1v1, you can't choose it yourself. You're automatically randomly matched against other opponents. So for him at the moment, you know, that sucks to get one of the strongest Fools members up against him with a DFS, with the Suffering Ring, just outgearing him, and I'd say outplaying him as well.
He did a really good job, yeah.
Man.
I mean, commiserations, obviously, but he did a good job to get as far as he did. Obviously, he's made it through to the 1v1. I know that he was very eager to make it a little bit further than that, but as you said, he went up against an opponent who had much better gear than him. He did seem to, it did seem to play on a different kind of level. Maybe Botu wasn't just ready. Who knows? We'll find out when this is all over. We'll be having a look at, we'll be having a listen to the individual players that have been on stage and their time throughout the tournament and leading up to that. So hopefully Botu can remember that moment and let us know what was running through his head. If you've missed any of the action, we're going to have a quick look back at the replays whilst we get ready for the next round, which I believe is going to be leaving us with 128 players left.
Yep. And Botu versus Slaver Jagex, that was his opposition in Fools. And again, like I said before, the guy was just way too tanky, had too much gear. Adam had a few chances, some nice specs, wasn't able to take it. Skill specs falling to a superior opponent, 16 combat levels higher with better gear as well. Very unfortunate for Jay, but I'm sure the Skillspecs is very happy they made it this far into the 1v1s too. Just nice to be there, really, and it shows that next time they can definitely get there again. Other things to mention as well, I saw a lot of the teams not actually utilizing magic at all. This guy, Hash Fools, he had the Ballista and the Status Warhammer. Way more PvP weapons than I thought I'd see. Nosepeg Man falling to Kimmerin, a lot of Blaze people, a lot of Fools as well in this final, despite them losing half their members in the multi-stage.
Well, I think the great thing about PvP weapons is because the fact that they can drop from any NPC within the wilderness. There were a lot of fears last tournament when they were added that they would just be too ridiculously hard to get, that the areas would be locked down. But the wilderness is a pretty big place, and there's a lot of NPCs in there. So trying to keep down that one area it's not that easy.
Yeah. I was actually looking at the statistics earlier of how many PvP weapons were actually in the game, and I was shown by Alistair, I believe. Shout out to Alistair for giving us a bunch of information. I think it was 50 or so of each of the weapons, and then like the VLS, the Stat Warhammer, and about 30 or so staffs, which was updated yesterday or early this morning. So again, way more than I thought there'd be, which means that we're going to see from now onwards, every single person, we just have to assume, has got a PvP weapon. If they haven't got one, they might be able to defeat someone and grab their item to make it through and excel with it.
For sure. Really interested to see what's going to be happening when we get through to this next round now. The thing that you mentioned, I believe, earlier on in the tournament is that we were saying how we get to the 1v1s, okay, and there's 2, 5, 6 people. It's a lot more than before.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of weaker players in there.
Definitely.
But once you get through to the next round, you start to you start to weed out the noobs, so to speak. So as they're falling,
Adam's looking at us like, oh, what? How dare you?
sorry, Boaty, but you are officially a noob now. Commiserations, but I'm sure that you'll do better in the next one. If not, maybe in the next PvP tournament.
There's no harm in falling to a fool's
No,
like
of course.
That. It was very respectful too. The GF falls, # respect from Finland. I can respect that. They're very, very honourable clan, which is really good to see as well.
Okay, we just had news. We're going to head over to a short break whilst we just get a few little things sorted out, and we'll be back with you as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Deadman Winter Finals. I want to just do a quick apology to everyone there at home that has probably realised that the stream went offline for a little while. Unfortunately, we were experiencing some technical difficulties. Not entirely sure, of what happened there. Seems like a problem with the streaming platform. However, we are back now, and most importantly, we're going to be heading into the next round of the 1v1 finals pretty soon. Until then, however, we do have some replays of some of the fights that you might have missed. So, apologies again for that little bit of a delay where we weren't able to be live for you, but we do have all of the action here for you to see yet again. This here was the fight that we saw Boaty against Slay for Juggies. Fools member who was extremely stacked, had really huge amounts of gear. That was when skill specs fell. Unfortunate for him again. He was pretty low leveled against someone who had just much more gear than him. Boaty with no supplies left against 4 brews for Slay for Juggies, and there's absolutely no chance that he stood there, and you can see Slay for Juggies knew that as well, showing out the respect.
Yeah,
and,
very unfortunate for him. I mean, the
little shout out for
DFS,
Fools.
the Ring of Suffering, you can't really defeat that.
No.
It's just too much for Adam. It's very unfortunate they got that in his first fight as well. We saw a few other lower levels falling. Unfortunately for Adam, he didn't get that fight himself. And apart from that, yeah, Boaty fell in the first phase. We had Fool's Justice on stage as well. Fool, just before, I think he said to me a minute ago, 2 people stood between him and getting into that final.
Oh,
So
no.
that's really, really bad luck.
Feels bad, man.
I know, and then we still, and then we still have ORPG, Curtis on the stage as well with us, Manked as well, both representing different teams. And I think right now one of the favourites to win actually in this entire tournament is going to be Manked, who's currently 15-0 from the All-Stars and currently 1-0 from this tournament as well.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job. So if you weren't aware, the players that we have available? The players that have made it through, get your words right, Ayeza, are Manked and MMORPG. Both made it through to the next round, which is the 1-2-8. 64 fights are going to be happening within that. A thing that we touched on a little bit earlier in the tournament, you probably missed it, we were commentating it to our lovely audience here, and they gave us a little chuckle. Hopefully you guys have a chuckle back home too, is that the first round of this 1v1 section, especially when there's 256 players, really just helps weed out the noobs. Think about who has fallen. I mean, Fool's Justice fell before the 1v1 stage, so, I mean, is he a noob? I mean, maybe not, but Boaty fell in the 1v1.
Oh man, to be fair, he fell to a Fools member who was very, very respectful as well,
Yeah.
chucking up the hashtag Fools and saying thanks for the fight, you know, respect from Finland. So we can't be unhappy about that one. If you're gonna fall to anyone, if it's a Fool member,
It may as well be
that's your
someone
excuse, isn't
yeah,
it? You know?
who was very strong and well. And it's all in good jest at the end of the
Yeah.
day. I would not even be able to make it into the point where I'm in
Well,
the tournament.
Adam beat me and
so,
knocked me out of the PvP All-Stars a couple of weeks ago, so I
yeah.
can't really talk any
Do you know what?
smack on him
That's
either.
the beauty of us being able to sit here on the couches, though, Pure Spam. We are technically considered the experts. Whether or not you believe that is up to you, but we can believe it ourselves.
And let's jump right into the action right now. A juicy little VLS coming in from Juicy Apple, and we got Mizio. I don't know if I pronounced that right. That is Manked right now on the stage, coming through with the Dragon Crossbow, the Fury, the Infinity Boots, the DFS, the VLS. The guy's absolutely got insane gear at the moment. He's also got an imbued heart in his inventory. Now, using that imbued heart at the start of the fight gets you to, I believe,
Oh, nice.
109.
49 hit with the VLS. Not even a spec. He's against the Fools member, I believe, here.
Juicy Apple, yeah, and Juicy Apple's looking real
Wow,
strong as well.
hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, Ian. Apparently, this is Fool's Iomeri, Fool's leader.
The leader of Fools, and he's
It's
using
Manked against the leader
and
of
he's
Fools.
using
Here we
a
go.
tank range setup. A lot of people will agree that Fools Iomeri isn't exactly the best 1v1er. He is very, very strong in his own right, but so is Manked. And Manked has the favourable advantage to say in this fight at the moment too. Looks like Juicy Apple or Iomeri currently has Vengeance too, and there we go. We see it coming in from Manked, reminding himself he needs to use that imbued heart, getting up to what, 109 or 111 or something like that, mage bonus.
Really going to
from
help him that
99.
extra accuracy.
Yeah, definitely. When you need to catch those freezes versus someone that's got, you know, the Carol's top and the gear that his opponent does, it's really crucial catching those freezes. But even if he catches a freeze, is that even worth doing right now? Look how many splashes he's getting. Not only that,
He's
but
just taken
his opponent,
so much damage in that time
yeah,
as well.
and his opponent has Mithril Seeds anyway, so even if you do freeze him,
You're not
I don't know
gonna be able to get the standard
why is
there.
he still going for the freeze right now? I'm not sure that's the best decision to make. And look at the inventory setups at the moment too. Iomeri has quite the advantage. Mang did not anticipate this happening. And even through the range right now, just getting destroyed. A 36 VLS whack as well, and a poke Only a 14 spec could have been much higher. Now Mank needs to keep his cool, catch that freeze, or at the very least, just get back into the fight, man.
So really, yeah, really interestingly here as well, let's have a look at the difference in special attack percentage. Ian Murray has kept himself at 30%. Ian Murray here being Juicy Apple. Try and keep them by the names that they have here so we don't get too confused. But Maisie, aka Manked, on the left, as you can see, running low on supplies, has only just used a special attack. He really needs to sink those down because it does regenerate as the fight carries on going.
Yeah, definitely. And he's actually out of Super Combats right now too. Let's fly on over to MMO and get back into this fight in just a moment. It's really neck and neck here between these two players.
Oh, it was a 56 from Mank as well. Here we go. MMORPG is going to finish this fight up. His opponent is out. MMORPG is absolutely decimated here.
Oh, the spec, the disrespect right at the end. 38.
He ate one shot.
Food. Yeah, literally. Now back to the Manx fight versus the leader of Fools, Juicy Apple, on the right. And Apple, actually, he's turned it round, Manx, somehow, even though being hit so much damage at the start. It's now 2 Sharks versus 3.
I think it was those
Manx
VLS hits, you know.
It must have been. He has no spec left now, and obviously those VLS so accurate. We missed what they were.
There it is, a 50.
That wasn't even a spec either. Yeah, that's all.
That's what happens. He is also, though, don't forget, he's in magic robes with protect from ranged. We've talked so many times so far about how important having the right armor is. Those defenses were just not there when that hit came in.
Might actually fall right now to someone in range tank gear, not even utilizing. No way, the 53. Oh man, Fools, he says, or
faux pas.
He got a bit excited there, killing Manx, one of the favourites to win. Manx unfortunately falling, but a massive applause from the audience. He made it this far. He's done very, very well. And I have Solo Mission versus Ollie. Now, Solo Mission is a content creator. He also has 2 food advantage versus opponent who has the DFS, the ACB. Solo Mission only has a rune crossbow and a crystal shield. So he's able to kill his opponent right now. He gets the VLS. He gets all of those upgrades. And he's going to be having a great advantage going into the final. He's also got Vengeance at the moment. So his opponent, he might actually win this. And his opponent has such great gear. ACB, like I said before, probably a Fools member.
Yeah, so we have Solo Mission with Blazers, and Olitzi actually is a Fools member. You are correct.
Yep.
I think we were told that they managed to lock down Godwall's Dungeon for a real long time.
Yeah.
And this is what, like the 3rd ACB we've seen so far?
Yeah, I believe they have the only ACBs in the game. They have 4 or 5 of them, and only one other team actually managed to get one out of there. Unfortunately, for I believe it's Tartar, they got 1 ACB and 12 Sara swords.
Yeah.
Well, Solo Mission now, actually. Unfortunately for him, he's being destroyed out of nowhere, and it looks like the Fools member is going to have a significant advantage. But we've seen this before happen. We could come back from Solo Mission, but with the Vengeance up right now, he's got hit really low.
What's going to happen on this hit? The last few hits, could it be that they both end up dying?
I mean,
no, there you have it. Fools member manages to go through as well.
Again, so much respect from Fools. You know, the hashtag Fools going up. Love you, bro. I can really appreciate that sense of competition.
One of the things, I think this fight's pretty much going to be, it's gone down. Purple dot PK, pretty good job of taking down his opponent.
And also upgrading his gear as well. And I believe that's...
that was Foe.
That was Iron Fox in Finnish, I believe, is what he's changed his name to.
So one point I want to just quickly mention. We have a look at this fight. I'm pretty sure you can see what's going to happen. He's throwing those Morrigan's axes, but Fools showing the respect. We've seen a lot of players...
Is that a Chinchompa pet? Sorry.
It is. It's the golden Chinchompa.
So cute.
We've seen a lot of players in clans that have left alliances that used to be really strong within Deadman purely because of the way that those clans would act. And we're now seeing almost like a resurgence of clans actually being nice, working with one another, being very cooperative, and just showing that utmost respect. You've got to remember, Jagex are going out of their way to put these tournaments together, and if the clans want to participate, they need to make sure that they're playing by the rules as well. And it really seems like Fools especially are showing that they are able to do that. And a lot of other people out there, there's been so much kind of like
both players
coming together.
Definitely. Both players right now have actually brewed their stats down all the way, getting hit by the fog, but somehow the whip goes through. Hits like a 26 spec, another 26 and a 22 to finish. That guy making it through with his Granite Shield. We also have, oh no, the Abyssal Dagger is gone, but Kim might decide to use it, upgrade his whip as well. Tom CX versus Dopa, both again neck and neck. A lot of these fights come right down to the wire, Ben, to the wire.
This guy's got a shock. Don't forget you've got a shock. Please eat it.
Oh no,
please eat it.
Does he not realise?
Oh my, please.
Is he not going to eat a shot?
Oh my, he finally ate it.
I mean, he's out through at the moment though.
I nearly fell off my chair.
The fog's going to slowly bring him down. Maybe he gets a bigger hit here. He needs to finish him off. Whoever gets the first hit in here, both players not protecting, and
there we have it. Tom
takes
CX manages to take out Dopa.
And he gets himself actually a little bit of an advantage there, having the gear upgrade too. We're now through to 64 players left in this finale. Very unfortunate for Manx being eliminated this early on.
Yeah, and the only person from the on-stage players that is left alive is MMORPG. Is Mod Archie going to become a god and have predicted almost the impossible.
Maybe, man, maybe. I mean, I'm just so surprised that, Io did so well there to be one of the undisputed, one of the best players in the game. And now, obviously, Io has got a lot of clan experience. He's been leading clans, been solo PKing for many years now. I said earlier that I didn't think he was really up to scratch compared to a lot of them, but clearly showing that I am very wrong there. So apologies, fools. Io, your leader, maybe gonna win the whole tournament for you. You never know. I'm liking his tank setup, having really high defensive bonuses, utilizing the Vengeance, and those Mithril Seeds is something that's so important to bring in. Manked, I believe he would have won that if it wasn't for Mithril Seeds, but being able to just, step underneath and be able to, use those Mithril Seeds to walk away slightly, it gave him the upper hand, plus a few beautiful fakies coming in from Juicy Apple, aka Io Fool's leader, and a few retaliations from him as well.
You can just see that VLS damage was just coming out.
That's what it comes down to.
And I think if maybe Manked had not chose to use magic so much and get all those splashes and had just opted to use ranged melee against his opponent, maybe the fight would have went a little bit different.
But he splashed so much, very unfortunate for him. And we saw as well there, Curtis going through with a full inventory of supplies.
Yeah, he absolutely smashed his opponent down. Talking about others, actually, Curtis might be the only person we have on stage, but he's not the only content creator that's got through. We've had word that both Torvesta and Alfie have managed to get through to the next round. So
Alfie,
that's going to be very interesting.
One to watch as well. I believe Alfie finished off Dragon Slayer 2, which requires 200 quest points. In a few days, went over to the Rune Dragons to try and farm
knows how to put the hours in, doesn't he?
He really does, and he's got himself a Dragon Crossbow, I believe, with a DFS as well, potentially. So he's going to be probably a really strong tank account as well. I'm not sure if he's on DT, he's going to be rocking the Arums, and maybe next fight we can have a little look at his fights too and find out exactly how he's doing and what gear he's opted for. Who would you say is the favourable for you to win at this point, Ben?
There's been so many people that have got through that I thought wouldn't, and so many people that haven't got through that I thought would. It's so difficult to say. I think just purely because of the fact that he's here in person on stage, I have to be now rooting for MMORPG.
Yeah.
Looking at his last fight as well, we didn't get to catch most of it, but we saw at the very end, he ate one food.
Literally.
So either this guy's an absolute god at PKing again all of a sudden, or his opponent was less favourable. We're about to find out. We have MMORPG going up against I'm So Far Behind. You are most certainly far behind MMORPG. He has such a higher combat level on you. That's probably going to help huge amounts when it goes into this fight, especially with the way that, again, defenses work. They come through off your stats, accuracy, off your, your attack, and you max it off your strength.
Yeah, it definitely helps. But as another important thing to say, actually, about their gear setups, Curtis has the full Arim, but I'm So Far behind.
Full, excuse me?
Arim. But I'm So Far behind has the Mystic Robe sword, which has quite a lot less, but the 43 Satyrs Warhammer draining MMORPG's defense level, making him, utilize those brews and those restores a bit earlier than he had to. If you remember, there's another one coming in on the right prey, again a 37, and right now I'm So Far Behind has a big lead. Oh,
He's
we've got a
doing
37.
incredible
Another one on the right prey. Could have actually KO'd Curtis there. Curtis needs to keep calm and grab that free as best he can, because once the pressure starts to set in, once I'm So Far Behind starts hitting like a truck, it's very hard for him to come back in time. So there's a splash here from Curtis. Can he catch another one? He's caught the freeze. Can he get the step under? He can. Now it's time for him to change the momentum, the pace of the fight, get back into it.
You can see now, however, though, unfortunate for him, he's not done very good potion management. He has a full Saradome in Peru, but has just used his combat and range potion.
That's so unlucky too. He hits a 0 on robes with the Satyrs Warhammer.
And the right prayer as well.
Yeah, man. That's just very unfortunate there. He really should have hit that freeze again, and just hitting zeros, and that is just RNG. You never know who's going to take the fight. Sometimes you roll little numbers, sometimes you get a bit lucky. Obviously, over time, the more damage you're going to deal. You've got to just, utilize those range more. I think he's using a lot of magic, which in this game mode, even with the Zuriel staff, isn't your biggest DPS. It's really used as a way to freeze your opponents most of the time, unless they're in their low defense bonus armor. And again, another Satyrs Warhammer.
Oh, that was not too bad. I just said, the typical.
I know, right? He got his prep just in time though, which minimizes the damage. Only to hit a 13 on him, but Curtis is almost out of food right now. He's catched the step under, and make sure he's dominating a little better. I'm not seeing him use many of the blood barrages either, which heal your HP. But he's being caught first. Managed to catch another freeze back.
Is this going to be it for him now? He really needs to start eating up, get that combo food
look
in.
At the inventory differences. I don't think he's able to come back right now. I think from the start, I'm so behind. He managed to get himself, what was it, like a 30-something, another 30-something Satyrs Warhammer hit, plus then a bunch of bolts as well. And once you start losing down that kind of food, you lose confidence in yourself. And as mentioned as well, I'm So Far Behind has the Morrigan's Javelins too. Not seeing him utilize them very much yet, but he could potentially use them as well to try and get some big hits on Curtis. Curtis now almost out of food, has a couple of brews left, but no super combats, no range potions, which means when he does brew down, he won't have that extra damage increase like I'm So Far Behind does. And again, exchanging hits, unfortunately taking way too much damage at the moment, and he decides not to use the brews.
This could be it for him now.
Tanks it, though.
Is he going to fall? I don't think there's much that you can do to bring this back in his favour, but hey, stranger things have happened. We'll just have to wait and see, really. I don't think he has any
it's too
chance
far gone at
here.
this point. I mean, he's got 60 spec left. You should definitely utilize that at some point. You might get a lucky 50-plus status Warhammer, which could turn the tide. And I won't put it past Curtis, man. Anything can happen in these fights. I'm so far behind now, having 4 Sharks, 2 Cram ones left, and a full brew, though. It might be just a little bit too much to hit. But Curtis, sticking with it, trying to keep himself in the fight as best he can, getting frozen, but still retaliating for 31 as well. The whip hits coming in, too, from that tentacle whip, trying to poison his opponent, but the Sandfew, of course, being able to take up that prayer.
I believe so far, almost every, if not only 2 or so casts from I'm so far behind even, have actually splashed. He's managed to catch all of those freezes. Really? Whereas MMORPG has had a little less luck there, unfortunate for him. Especially when he has the combat advantage. You would have thought he came into this in a much better position, but maybe it's just coming down to the fact that, I'm so far behind is a more experienced PKer. MMORPG, though, still isn't out, and that's it. Unfortunately, the 28 bolt straight to the heart. Falls.
Lockdown.
And that is the end of our content creators on stage in the tournament, but it's not the end of our content creators in the...
Is S-Engineers the engineer I want?
Maybe.
Potentially. 2 absolute titans right now, 119 combat, 122 combat, fighting each other at the moment. And S-Engineer's actually done. He's done DS2. He's got the Avers 2 that you get from killing Vorkath, so that's helped quite a lot. Staff bashing, though. Can't be staff bashing at a time like this. He's 81 hit points of a Crown left. That's 99 altogether versus Kev's 102 HP. So it's neck and neck right now between these 2 absolute behemoths of the tournament. But can Engineer,
really
there
nice
we go, the 40
S-Engineer.
on the right prayer.
Also,
Kev dropping his for a second as well.
Take note of how much prayer they have left. S-Engineer still has 3 doses left. So S-Engineer, who we've had information to say is actually Alfie.
That's Alfie.
Yep, pretending to be C-Engineer's brother. Fair enough. I mean, if it's going to work.
Oh, look at that
really
freeze
nice
catching in as
33.
well.
A vengeance coming in from Kev, but I think that Alfie
mate, absolute machine, the 47 VLS.
There we go.
Goes to show, man. It's nice to see a proper hybrid, tribrid rather, beating someone with vengeance. In the past, we've seen Eomeri taking out Manct as well. Right now, we have 2 PKs left. Best PKer.
Oh, you're not so good now, are you? You just
the VLS
taken down by Eomeri.
Again,
so
close.
It wasn't Eomeri, was it? It's someone else.
I don't think that's Eomeri.
The names are so similar. Tom CX against Walk Away. Walk Away is doing a good job.
Oh, look at his inventory. Look at the
plays.
plays.
He's just punching him in the head.
The disrespect running round. Getting the vengeances as well. 19, was that a 19 punch? No way. Oh dear, faking out the swaps. Gets the win there, nice and easy for him. Looking at Kreikshire versus My Ear Hurts, who's probably hearing my commentary right now. Oh god darn it, Ian. Anyway, so My Ear Hurts having 1 shark versus opponent. He's also got some Ring of Recoils that are noted in case he gets lucky enough to get himself a Ring of Suffering. Really smart strategy, but is he down 1 food as a result? I'm not too sure on that one. I think he's got the same food. Now, Kreikshire, having quite a bit of inventory space, is, a bit more HP. 20 HP lead. Did he get spec on the right prayer?
That was a nice hit
that could have been a KO so easily.
It's going to be these last few hits that's going to make it.
No way!
Please don't tell me someone's going to die to the fog instead. He comes through.
So close.
I sounded like a gecko eating a fly.
I'm surprised they didn't actually put on their redemption prayer. They went a prayer right at the end. They have no overheads on.
I don't know what just happened there.
That was so close.
I just choked. I choked completely. That was incredible.
Imagine making it through by like the skin of your teeth. It's like that 2 hit point.
The panic on them. They would have just been there like, no, you die. No, I don't want to die.
Ridiculous, man. I'm so happy for Alfie as well, one of our few content creators that are left in this tournament. We now have, is it 32 people left?
32 people, yeah. We're going into the next round. So I'm going to have to be a little bit ignorant here and have a look at who we have in terms of content creators that are through. But I believe that's for the last round, so I might hold off for now.
That's fine. Well, Alfie, like we said before,
going into that. Sorry, go on ahead.
I was going to say Alfie doing DS2, making sure showing that having that Avers accumulator number 2, that make a little bit of difference, and showing that he's such a good hybrid man. I didn't realise he was actually.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it goes in the next round.
He beat me 2-0 in the All Stars as well. So yeah, he's proven himself time and time again. He beat lots of people actually, and he's doing really, really well. Those step unders, that Zuriel staff being fed with a VLS as well from his clan, a DFS that he got as well from doing Rune Dragons, I believe too. He's absolutely swamping it right now. He's got himself some actual gear upgrades too. So I think Alfie could go really far at the moment.
He does seem to have a really good chance, and he's done a very good job so far. I'm probably going to root for Alfie after seeing his last fights.
The question is, though, can he beat Eomeri, who took on Manx with the tribal setup? That is the question. We've got a few replays right now of Curtis, unfortunately, falling in this finale. I believe the start of that, he just got very unfortunate. I'm so far behind, getting a 43 spec into another 37 spec. And at that point, and that's like 4 food used up already, and it's just so hard to come back at that point. He did a really good job of doing so, though, staying in the fight, didn't give up, but I'm so far behind, getting a few gear upgrades and making it through. We saw S-Engineer, who is Alfie, as we spoke about before, one of the content creators, finish finished his opponent with a 47 VLS. Absolutely huge. That VLS, look at
really
it go,
good
man.
scenes.
It swipes so well and just hits so much damage, man.
Oh, there's a nice clap from me.
Aw.
Good job. We look so enthusiastic because we absolutely love Deadman. This is the fight where I completely choked, forgot how to speak, didn't know what happened, but my ear hurts managed to get through. We've had
Literally
information.
3 hit points left.
Literally.
That's,
So, interestingly, Torvesta also made it through.
really? Who's he?
Oh, you know, just some dude that makes YouTube videos that you play at 1.5
I
speed.
meant what's his RS
Oh, okay, well now I just look like a bit of a...
I watch all of Alex's videos. Great content creator, man.
He is, and I can't wait to see his actual final video as well.
Man.
He
Has
always
he
does a
actually
good job.
made it to the finals before? I don't know how far he's got. No, he's got to the top 16 once.
He has. We're now in the
So,
final 32.
yeah.
In terms of the final 32, clan representation, Blazers, 8 members.
Okay.
Tartar, 8 members. And Fools with 5.
Really?
That's all the information we have so far.
And then the other members might be like solo members or people that have not really stuck within their CC because they've seen us looking at them now and they're like, oh, we don't want to be, be sniped out.
I also have information as to notable names / content creators that have got through. We have Alfie Rules, which we saw. Ian Mary has also made it through. Torvesta. And Fools Kembo.
Fools Kembo's still in it as well. Wow.
One of the best PKs from Fools.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. We've seen him streaming throughout the week, absolutely dominating from day 2, day 3. Him and Justice were both fed by Fools. That was their plan throughout. They wanted to give these guys the best gear possible. They've been grinding out Godwall's Dungeon. They've been grinding out all kinds of things, giving them all the weapons in game. The Ring of Suffering, some of the demonic gorillas, like we said before. What are you giggling at right there? What have you just seen?
I just had information of everyone's names that have been updated in game.
Okay.
Okay, so I can tell you who Torvesta is.
Fantastic.
His name is XUSCEPSLLIKS, or if you were to read that backwards, Skill Spec Sucks.
Oh, man, that absolute disrespect, especially when Jay's actually gone out in the first round as well, bless
All
him.
right, Torvesta, I believe that we're going to get our lovely JMod team to give you a permanent name for the next year of Fluffy Bunny.
Definitely, man.
Enjoy.
Oh, dear. That feud just constantly goes on. It's one of the best drama that we see on,
It really is.
on twitch.tv
So,
and such.
names to look out for, guys back at home and those in the audience. S-Engineer is Alfie Rules, Juicy Apple being Ia Mary, Disqualifier is Fools Kembo, and XUS is Torvesta. Here we go, the round of 32. It looks like we're going to be
right
looking
into
at
Torvesta, aren't we?
Torvesta up against Luco Taco.
Wow, Torvesta's 120 combat. He's gone really hard this week, especially mentioning in his videos that he's been, taking it nice and easy and not trying to play, 20 hours a day, but still proving that you can make it to the top tier and right at the end. But getting hit a 19 Warhammer Smack by Luco, which reduces defense level, but trying to use 2, and one of them actually getting 0. And look at that gear that Luco has. Must be a Fool's member. Must be. He's got the Armadillo bottoms on, which have insane mage defense bonuses. So him catching the freeze, Torvesta trying to catch them is going to be very difficult. We saw Manx versus Ian Mary. Same thing happened. He just couldn't go through.
42 whack off there as well.
Oh,
Down
and
the
again,
damages just
dude.
came through. Nice combo eat there from Torvesta. Really interesting in terms of their different supplies here. You can see, the Luco Taco has opted for a tank setup. Torvesta going in for the Tribrid. He's managed to bring himself via less. He's also got, the Azoriel's staff and the Warhammer as well.
He finally catches a freeze, but remembering that every time he deals damage, every 30 seconds, Luco gets that Vengeance that comes up again, which deals a portion of damage right back onto his opponent. Now, if Torvesta takes a bit too long to hit those big hits with the VLS and such, sits underneath on too long, then that Vengeance is going to come up, and that's going to slowly dwindle away his supplies as well. Looking at food situations right now as well, I think it's about somewhat even, but Luco having that huge advantage again, that massive opener with the Satis Warhammer. But, nice from Torvesta hitting a 31 VLS, and he's going to get that freeze again. He's going to go for it. He's going to be like, whatever, I can't catch these freezes. He's managed to catch the freeze, Ben.
Information coming through. Luco Taco is actually representing Tartar. So it's, Torvesta up against Tartar.
Oh, wow, I wonder if he actually got those himself or if he managed to grab them from maybe a Fool's member that he defeated in the 1-versus-1 rounds prior to this one.
Yeah, well, we've not seen the fights that they've been a part of, so it is very, very likely that he ended up killing a Fool's member to grab a hold of that gear. It's just fascinating to see how much, high-level equipment they actually get a hold of. The DFS, a lot of people seem to have that this time around, and obviously the Armadillo chain skirt, absolutely insane. We're going to have a quick jump over to Alfie Rules' fight now. Alfie is going up against Buhar Jar.
And again, using those fakies and stuff, trying to fool his opponent is praying the wrong thing. Now, obviously, overhead press, like before, they reduce damage by 40%. So making sure you've got the right one up at the right time, as well as focusing your switches, making sure your opponent doesn't have the right overhead up for you, is really, really, the most important thing in these fights. And essentially right now, Alfie himself has actually a big advantage in food versus Forbu.
He's really got something to show now after his unfortunate end at the All-Stars tournament. Looks like he's coming back with a vengeance. A nice 33 hit there from the Festus Longsword. board.
dominating at
He
the moment.
really is. He's got literally 2 Sharks and a full Sourdough Brew, plus 2 Karambwans against nothing.
And again, gear setup. Before we had a DFS, actually, but he doesn't have a DFS. Apologies for that, Alfie. But
Crystal Shield.
He does have the Crystal Shield, which he quested for, of course. And that Dragon Crossbow and the Avers obviously making a huge difference as it ranges one of your most biggest DPS hits. Apart from that VLS, of course. If you get lucky enough, you can hit 60s and such.
Well, you've seen that. However, you know, Buhar Jar is doing a very good job of staying in this fight, considering the fact that he has absolutely no food left. You can see Alfie is constantly doing damage back. I believe he has a Ring of Suffering.
He does have a Ring of Suffering, which again makes a huge difference, gives you a few food advantage because every damage the opponent deals gets a little bit of recoil effect back again. Alfie catching that freeze, stepping underneath, trying to whack with the VLS as best he can. And I think that's the best thing for you to do, really, is to fakey out those hits, make sure you've got the VLS all the time. And Alfie should be eating here. Oh, he could have actually died on 29 hit points
Alfie.
to a bolt.
Oh, there we go, full
I don't know
HP.
why he wouldn't eat there. Still.
All right, good job.
Imagine
Alfie's managed to make it through.
That could have been a really terrible decision to make.
Now we're looking at Torvesta up against Tartar Member. He is no food. Tartar Member has 2 Sharks left. It looks like this might be the end of Torvesta's run in this tournament.
It's unfortunate, man. I think that actually his opponent might have a Suffering as well. Yeah, he does. His opponent has a Suffering, which has made it almost impossible for him to win this fight. But he's almost managed to come back. But with 7 HP now, he's got to pop the Heart Prayer. Why he's not using Redemption? If he uses Redemption, he could be able to stay in the fight a little bit longer.
Unfortunate for him.
Doesn't matter. 16 KOs him, and unfortunately, Torvesta falls just short of his top position in previous tournaments.
Yeah, a lot of players really showing how strong the tank setup can be, especially with the unfortunate amount of times that you can splash. However, if it does end up working out for you, you can dish out a huge amount of damage. Now we're looking at DL Whale against Kariestic.
Again, two range tanks pretty much. Look at the guy on the left, DL Well. He's got himself the Armadillo trousers, the Armadillo leg as well, the DFS, the Dragon Crossbow. I think it is a guy from DL as well, by the looks of things. DL are part of the ODB Alliance. So it's
I
the
don't
second
believe
turn
it's
of the
someone
Alliance
from
as well.
DL. I think it's actually a member of Fools and the other
Really?
Blazers.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me either, you know, flaming out the opposition and such.
We were talking about respect, unfortunately, that they've done that now. But it looks like DL Whale has actually flopped. They did put the right
Look
name
at their
on.
gear as well. The guy had an AGS in his inventory as well. We might have Porcupine Man
it was
versus
that actually made it through
Walkaway.
there, you know.
That would not surprise me. Walk away with the Lunar Rings. He's using Lunas. He's got a ZGS too. Obviously, ZGS special attack, freezing your opponent in place, as well as a massive hit to be able to do a lot of damage. But Porcupine Man having a slight advantage, having the Tribrid. Maybe if he can get some freezes right now. Porcupine also with that huge defense bonus. He's got the DFS. He's got himself the staff as well to catch his opponents very, very easily.
Porcupine here is representing Tartar, and you can see Walkaway actually has a Ring of Recoil, and he's swapping that into a separate ring. I can't quite figure out what it is from the inventory model.
It's a Lunar Ring, I believe,
a Lunar
top
Ring.
right.
Okay, so he's probably potentially using that
Slight
for,
bit of magic bonuses to catch those freezes, quite important as well. Although he's not switching at the moment. But Walkaway now out of food, sitting on 26 hit points. Porcupine in the lead, using those VLS. He's got a spec out, hitting a 0 on the right prayer. Very unfortunate for him. But Walkaway still has a spec. Will he utilize it? He doesn't have a special attack to really use. He's got the VLS. He could go for it right now. I don't know why he's not going for it. But looks like Porcupine probably going to win this one. And the 21, he does indeed take it.
Congratulations to him. A lot of tanks in that round.
Yeah, man, more than I'd expect to see, to be honest. I believe it's the PvP weapons. That VLS is just incredibly accurate. If you can fake out your opponent, get a few hits off, you don't need to catch your opponent's freeze. You don't have to go for those kind of hits. You hit a 50 and you basically won the fight.
Well, yeah, 50 when you're limited to, is it like 20 sharks?
13
it's 2.5 sharks.
Yeah, 13 sharks.
13 sharks,
and
2 Karams.
A couple brews and such. Let's jump back into the replay package and see what we just witnessed there in the top 64. Was that top 30?
Top 32.
Top 32.
So we're going to be moving into the round of 16. After this
one, yeah.
That was a really nice 42, just smacked in the head with that hammer.
Really unfortunate. It came
really
so
much
close
damage.
as well, man. I mean, Torvesta, the guy on the left right now, Zas, could have potentially won that fight. We also saw Alfie here, S-Engineer, going through his phase as well, kitted out with absolute max gear. Got himself a DFS from that as well, I'm pretty sure. And Torvesta, unfortunately, just falling short against his opponent. That suffering just makes a huge difference. Again, Porcupine Man, no surprise there. The DFS, the VLS combo. Just goes to show, this week, they start from scratch, as I said before. Level 3 accounts, new economy, fresh server. You have a week to get the best gear possible. And a lot of these clans are really focused on, getting those signature items. The DFS is a huge tank bonus. The Barrow's gear, of course, is a staple. Some clans, like Fools, have gone all the way to God Wars Dungeon
and managed to
try and
the
farm
Armadillo.
themselves. Yeah, the Armadillo crossbow.
It does
and
look
the
how they've
Armadillo
managed
gear.
to get that over to the hands of their opponents though at times. So, something to be very cautious of.
If Torvesta didn't go up against that guy with the suffering and stuff, the Tartar member who managed to get himself an item maybe from a Fools member, it could have been a very different story for him. So.
Okay, so if you do want to get involved on Twitter, make sure you use #DeadmanWinter. Also follow @OSRS PvP to stay in touch with all of the information regarding the tournament. Anything that might come out in terms of like what's been going on to this point. journey of separate players, or if there's things that have been going on in terms of like difficulties, we'll also post it in there. Just had some information come through that may suggest that Alfie has actually got a bye on this round, because it seems that his opponent has decided to log out.
Really?
So we'll get some
32.
Yeah, get a little bit more confirmation on that in a little while. But if that's the case, it's the case. Congratulations to him, and he'll be moving through. But that round there, I'm very interested. I mentioned about how there's so many people with tank setups. I'm wondering if there's anyone left that's going to be using non-tank. Otherwise, it's really going to come down to who can get the the nice hits with the VLS,
Well, I mean,
the defense reduction, sorry, with the Warhammer,
Yeah.
and just really how much is going to come through from vengeance hits.
Well, the benefit of having the tribal style is that you've got 3 different styles you've got to protect yourself from: range, mage, and melee. Now, if you're a very good, competent hybrid of just having 2 styles using range and melee, and you can fakey accordingly,
Yep.
and still you're at a really strong advantage. You haven't got to worry so much about having to catch those freezes, and which can sometimes splash constantly, which is so frustrating, as we've seen from Max earlier when he was fighting up against the Fool's leader, Eomeri.
It really must be as well when you're just sitting there and there's nothing that you can do
No,
apart from
literally.
just
Doing
keep on
everything
trying
right,
and it
still
just
just
doesn't work out
hitting
for you.
zeros.
2
Anyway.
seconds left. Here we are heading into the final 16 players of the Winter 18 Deadman Tournament. There you can see it. Alfie is just going to be chilling in this little round, watching his opponents. Juicy Apple against
that huge
Carriastic.
spec off the bat. Yeah, Juicy Apple, as we know, is Fool's Eomeri, the leader of the Finnish squad, and he's kitted up in absolute max gear. He's got the ACB, the VLS, trying to fake out his opponent, and his opponent utilising a very similar strategy as well. But his opponent also has the Imbued Heart. Not going to make much of a difference. He's not got magic against his opponent. Obviously, having higher magic level means higher magic defense too. But as I said before, Juicy does not have any magic equipment. So gear versus gear right now, I mean, it's pretty even. I would say, though, that Juicy Apple has a slight advantage as the VLS does trump the Statius Warhammer. And if Juicy Apple does win this fight, he's going to be able to get himself an upgrade of the Armadillo legs that his team, Fools, potentially got a bit earlier on as well, which would be brutal for him. 19 spec through the prayer, looking at both players at special attack right now. Characteristics, still don't use a single special attack. He needs to utilize them soon because he's only got 1 super combat dose left. If he doesn't use that super combat dose and use those specs up nice and early, it means that he's not going to have one.
Yeah,
to
it's
utilize.
at this point, it's just wasted damage potential. Even if it's just a case of using it on the wrong prayer, you want to at least try and get 1 out. If you were to use the Warhammer on the wrong prayer, it's still going to get that damage reduction, the defense reduction,
And he's just used the super combat right now, so it means he's going to go for one, hopefully, very shortly. But still just like hitting with it and just trying to make sure his opponent's faking out. But Juicy Apple keeping prey melee up the whole time, pretty much. Interesting. And a 0, there it comes in finally. But nothing really there.
Nothing really comes of it. So, yeah, a little bit of back and forth here, a bit of a stalemate. Both players opt in, obviously, don't...
Oh,
nice
he's got an
AGS spec.
AGS? I didn't see that. How did I miss the AGS?
Neither did I.
Maybe
He has
that's
some
why.
incredible gear.
Maybe that's why he's used the stat Warhammer beforehand to like fakey, make his opponent think that he's only got that. Maybe that's the reason why Emira was camping Prime Melee too, because he realized his opponent's got the AGS, doesn't want to fall to a 73 potentially at this stage of the tournament. Sorry, mate. Had to, especially after Chris's earlier. But right now, Juicy Apple on around 7
Oh, that was a
shots.
really nice hit there with that bolt, the
beautiful.
spec coming through. Normally, Ian, that is something that you will shout and scream about. A 45 with that crossbow.
Mate, I was looking at my inventory right now. I love those crossbow hits. And the 37 spec as well for Juicy Apple. He's got 30% spec left, which means he's got 1 special attack still at his opportunity to use. And characteristic only has 25%, which is, again, 1 special attack. Could utilize it, but he's going to wait for the 80 spec to come back.
Juicy Apple knows at this point that his opponent is pretty much going to only be able to use that Warhammer hit, and it's not going to be able to KO him. So as long as he keeps high HP, he's keeping that protect from melee up. Because look at his gear. He's wearing full tank, and he can just sit in melee. He doesn't have to worry so much about ranged. That's why he can camp melee when he needs to.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, ACB versus Dragon Bolt, Dragon Crossbow, sorry, and the Dragonstone bolts you see on the floor right now. Those things, even through prayer and even through this gear, do an absolutely fantastic amount of damage.
Yep.
0 for Juicy Apple with the VLS spec coming in there. Very unfortunate for him, but maybe just maybe he's actually in the lead right now. He's got 6 sharks compared to 4, so characteristics needs to do something special. Getting some big hits in there.
That was a nice
maybe a
hit
KO
there.
or potentially the Vengeance combo. But again, quite
Vengeance
even.
timing just a little bit off there, unfortunately. I think it was on cooldown. We saw it proc a moment ago in the fight. If he had managed to get it up in time, it would have been incredible to see a Vengeance KO.
KO at this stage of the game, potentially. And right now, another VLS. Could have killed him there. I don't think he has a spec up in time. And
Nice
characteristic.
AGS whack, but not enough damage in there, especially when you're in full tank and protect from melee. Not really the best time to use it, but hey, you got to use every opportunity that you can find yourself. A nice 34 coming in here from Carriastic, followed by a hit, but it's protect from melee coming up in tank gear, back again for Juicy Apple.
Yeah, Juicy Apple, 3 sharks now in the lead. Characteristic only has 1 left, almost out of food. And also, saying that as well, these weapons, they obviously have the, last spec, hitting a 0, unfortunately. I was going to say the Dragon Crossbow and the Armadillo Crossbow, both you can 1-tick the special attack from, so you can't see it coming. That could be a KO, actually, I'm pretty sure. 31 around 70
Protect
HP.
from melee, though, so I think it would have been...
yeah, protect melee and took another
Yeah,
time. Oh, that's very
unfortunately.
unfortunate for Characteristic. Very fortunate for Fools, though, with their leader taking them through victory. But it is so close at the moment. GCL has 1 food left. Is he going to risk it? Is he not going to eat it early on? No, he's eating it now. He has 69 HP versus 38. Double the HP almost for Juicy Apple. And now just a faking competition. Trying to change your weapon from a VLS to the ACB. Trying to trick your opponents, praying the wrong thing and capitalizing on the DPS possible. But it's a game of chance, an RNG game mode. And looks like Characteristic, luckily, he's actually got a few big hits in. The Vengeance coming out for Juicy Apple 2. Could this be potential double death, both having Vengeance at the moment? It's going to be so close. If he gets the next big hit in, he's going to pretty much win this. And this is a battle of really the nerves, keeping calm and collecting another spec. 0, unfortunate for him. Characteristic has a special attack. Is he going to use it? He has the Status Warhammer.
He manages to
He
get
can
this
still
kill.
hit.
It could be a nice upgrade for him, getting the DFS over the Crystal Shield as well as the ACB. But I do actually... Oh, no, I'm going to hold off for it. I'm going to tell you just as this fight ends, because this is too entertaining.
Mate, both players right now, it's literally neck and neck. All it comes down to is the next hit. Only a 4 he hits, but it was only a 4 damage splat. And another 5! A 5 could have killed him. Vengeance for both players again.
Is going to be it. He's got 9 HP. He can use Redemption.
He can kill himself.
They both have enough.
Oh, he got the Redemption off as well. That's so clutch. And again, 15 HP back down below.
Might be able to get another one. Oh,
No.
the 37. Okay, wow. That was an
was so
incredible
close.
fight. I just want to say, really good props to both of these players, because it seems, by our best knowledge, that they were both Fools members.
Were they?
But they
I understand
didn't.
how the respectful
Yeah,
fight. They want to show for everyone at
really
home.
just put it out there.
Fantastic.
So it feels like we've been talking a lot about Fools throughout this tournament, and that's not due to anything like favoritism or such like that. It's just that they've really done a fantastic job. They've got so many of their members that have came together. One of the guys on stage as well. You can constantly see the fact that they're from Fools when they mention it in chat as well. And you know, just a really good job, especially for a clan that came up solo until this final section. However, they're not the only clan that are left in here. Ooh. So as far as I'm aware, I believe that running into that, we had a member from Tartar, Blazers, Fools, a solo player who is HR non-El Colpla, something like that. Player from Execution, another from Tartar, another from Fools, another from Tartar, another from Fools, another from Fools, 2 more from Tartar, 1 from Lit, and then 2 Blazers.
That's
so
awesome, man.
we have 3 Blazers members, only 1 representing Lit, and is that 4 from Tartar, and then the following are Fools, apart from 1 that's from Execution and the other who is a no player.
The 2-5-6 finale, obviously that multi-stage is all about, you know, picking off the opponent, sniping out the stronger members. But to see every single clan having representatives in the finals, you know, all their hard work hasn't gone for nothing. In the past, we've seen only 128. It's quite hard if a clan gets a hit in multi. They're just not going to make it through, really, because everyone's got to pass out until you've got 64 that go through.
Yeah,
so it's really cool to see for every single clan, you know, have representatives in there. And I mean, yeah, we've seen Fools dominating this single stage, but it's not over yet, man. We've seen some Tartar players too that took down, I believe it was Torvesta in the last phase, and he just, you know, he was dominating as well. Tartar, really strong solo players, 1v1. So are Blazers as well, who are in here still. And Cutthroat, I believe, had a couple CT you mentioned. And
yeah, there's a few of members in there.
Yeah, Cutthroat as well.
No Cutthroat left.
No Cutthroat left.
No, sorry, but they did a really good job of getting themselves up to the point that they did, and they probably helped their teammates as well. Had in some information come through that Boaty's killer from the previous round was bested by Fools Kembo. So he managed to
got revenge. Adam is very happy there that he's got himself some revenge. He's putting his thumbs up. Oh, friend. Anyway, jumping back into the fight right now.
Oh, brilliant. Here we can see that very long fight between Juicy Apple and Carriastick, both actually Fools members, I believe.
Yep.
And then here a fight that we Porcupine.
We did see Alfie as well, one of the content creators, making it through too, which is really happy for him. He's done DS2, been, you know, gaming all week long. 20-hour day sessions, and all come to this point really for that you know, chance at a $20,000 grand prize. Majority of players left right now actually are the range and melee tanks. I believe it's the PvP weapons that make it worthwhile going for that, because if you get someone on the wrong prey and you manage to get them with a massive hit, or the DCB or the ACB, range and melee are the biggest DPSs in the game, and you don't want to like put your chances of the prize money on catching a freeze, which, as you saw, Manx, who was one of the favourites, and he just kept splashing like a fish out of water.
As I said before, a little bit of a Magikarp moment, unfortunate for him. I don't mean to be looking like the ignorant guy who's constantly on his tablet. I do need to get 95 Slayer by the 10th of January, but it is because I'm looking at some information here. The final 8, as best as we know, seems to be composed of 1 Tartar member, 2 Fools members, we have 3 Blazers members, 1 Lit member, and then a solo player. So I should be able to now say which clan people are a part of. So, looking at this, we have Disqualifier against Demonic Bolt.
I'm pretty sure Disqualifier is Fool's Kembo, correct me if I'm wrong. And I
So
believe the guy on the
Disqualifier is not Fool's Kembo, but is part of Fool's, and Demonic Bolt is actually part of Blazers.
Blazers, yes, I'm pretty sure that's one of my mates. So good luck to him as well. We have Juicy Apple now, the Fools.
Oh, Disqualifier is Kembo, sorry.
He is Kembo, there we go, yeah. Fools versus Blazers, both friends and both allianced in this finale, now to meet each other to take home that first place prize. We have Juicy Apple, leader of Fools, Iyomiri himself fighting DI, or is that DL meant to be? Raccoon.
Which is from Blazers.
Who's from Blazers as well. So again, another Fools versus Blazers matchup. Both players, I'd say that got a similar chance of making it through. It's anyone's game at the moment. It just comes down to, you know, how lucky they get. Right, Juicy Apple at the moment, looking like he's got a few more supplies, though, than DI Raccoon. And Raccoon just, you know, trying to stay in this, get his specs up as best he can.
Yep.
Both have exactly the same gear. Both opted for full Torag setup with the ACB and the VLS. I mean, it's neck and neck. But I would say one thing about Raccoon is he uses Brew Up already, whereas Juicy Apple still has his.
I mean, that might not be a bad thing, especially when you want to get your boosted stats and have them throughout the fight as long as possible. However, if you do hold on to the brew, you can use those potions later on when it might matter most.
Definitely.
Exactly.
I mean, we saw Avenged Stack earlier coming in, it almost KO'd someone, so having those brews to utilize, and the Crown one as well to trip elite as best you can. But 29 VLS coming from Juicy Apple right now, still trying to dominate this fight and doing an absolutely fantastic job of doing so.
He really is. And people back home, you may realize that the other fights aren't going on. That is because we are now at the quarterfinal stage, so these are going to be going one at a time. We'll then be moving into the semis, and then obviously the finals afterwards, which will determine who is going to be the winner of the $20,000.
This would be. Oh, the 49 sport! Here we go, the special attack from the Dragon
There is the
Crossbow.
in, and it's
Oh, I love those hits, man. That's insane. So good to see the big damage. That's what my little. I just like seeing big hits.
No, it's
now,
amazing when you see it, and it's especially great when people are wearing full tank and you can just see the hits come through. It really just shows you how important it is to make sure you have the right equipment on.
I'm just a massive man. I just like seeing RuneScape
Hey,
fight
there's
at
nothing
it,
wrong
man.
with
What can I say?
It's a brilliant game, and you know, why would you not love it?
That's what we're here for today. Juicy Apple hitting a
Exactly.
nice 23. And wait, does DI Raccoon have a suffering, or is it Juicy Apple has a suffering? I think Juicy Apple actually has a suffering.
Both players have improved hearts.
But no, I mean, the ring slot, they have sufferings as well for the recalls, I believe, which is a little bit of damage every single time back on their opponent, so it's neck and neck right now.
But
looks like
they're both Vengeance players, right? Vengeance users.
yeah, both
what's
using
the imbued
Vengeance.
heart really
the
gonna
imbued
do for
heart.
them?
So basically, if you're finding someone that's got magic and you use that imbued heart, your
It's going to
magic
give you the extra magic defense.
yeah, because magic attack also
Okay.
equals your magic defense, so you need to have that mage level as high as possible. Maybe as well, they've killed someone that had one and just thought they'd pick it up anyway, just for the sake of
Yeah,
it.
of course. I mean, they're not going to be able to fill their inventories now.
No,
because of the food that you
exactly.
get. A nice damage exchange here between the two players. DL Raccoon going in for a smite, maybe a misclick. Looks like he's out of food now, though. Juicy Apple has the upper hand. However, that 15 is going to help
I mean,
balance
they're
this
both
fight
out of food at the moment. It's
They
39
are.
versus 26
Have to be
HP.
really careful for these melee hits now. Going in for the range of
Oh!
20 hit. DL Raccoon needs to make
it's a
sure
zero, that
gets
could be it. There's
Got
the
it.
redemption,
Wow.
lovely.
No way. He's got 2 doses of prayer left. He has 2 chances unless he gets overhit.
No way.
The Vengeance took him out. 4 HP.
Wow, that was so. Could have been a double death there, or
Good
rather,
job
would have
there.
been his kill because the damage splat would have hit before the Vengeance did. And looks like Iyomiri making it forward, representing Fools as their leader. Quarterfinal number 2 about to start. We have Disqualifier, who is Fools Kembo, the guy that beat the person that beat Boaty. So out for revenge
we
right
go.
now. And Demonic Ball representing Blazers. Both players having the similar sit setups. Actually, no, Fools Kembo. We have a tribrid left in this tournament. That's fantastic to see.
He's going to be able to get it.
Oh, he's flaming. He's trying to get his opponent, trying to be, be a bit confused and stuff. 56 from Demonic Ball. That is huge. That is 3 food down already for Kembo. But Kembo, a really powerful hybrid. He knows
He's
what he's
keeping
doing.
his cool here. We've seen how good he was before, but those hits are really coming in
Another
hard with that melee.
36. That
Doing
is
a
just
really
so
good job of
unfortunate,
just
man.
like, not even a good, it is a good job. He knows when to go in for the melee hits. It's whenever he's been trying to go in for magic and he's not been frozen. Here we can see the Mithril Seeds being used to their full effect of making sure their opponent cannot stand underneath them.
But now Disqualifier firing back himself with one of those VLS specs hitting quite hard as well. He realizes that Demonic Ball has the flowers. So if he does decide to free them in place, Demonic Ball can just step away until the whole arena is filled with flowers. You can't put flowers in the same spot twice. 31 VLS through his prayer as well.
He's doing a really
getting
good
such
job.
insane specs. And here we go, the tornado effect. Just, going for it. And just once you get that momentum in place in your favor, it's so hard to come back. A 39 bolt.
Well, the damage
Jeez.
has been non-stop here at the moment, and it's because Demonic Bolt is really timing those melee hits perfectly. It's on the right tick for as soon as he manages to walk towards his opponent, the damage registers at the same time. So his opponent really doesn't have that much time to react. He's trying to freeze him constantly. Disqualifier here finally manages to get a nice hit. 30 damage hit there. I believe that was from the barrage.
Might
We
be
didn't see
too
it.
little too late, though, I'm afraid.
Really nice
then.
switch there into magic, though, from melee. Unfortunately, didn't do a lot of damage. But yeah, I think you're right here, Ian. Demonic Bolt has just got such an advantage in terms of that inventory. But there we go. A nice stack suddenly could turn the tides of this battle.
I mean, Demonic Bolt's been very careful, though. When he gets down to low HP, he instantly puts up Prey Melee, not giving his opponent a single chance to get those huge VLS specs in and getting a KO potential on him.
We have Disqualifier who was taking off his helm then for that magic hit.
Every little helps, doesn't
bonus.
it? I mean, you've got to do it at this point when you're... How much food down is that? Like 4 or 5 food down? But I mean, at the same time, if you get a couple of 30s, a couple of 20s, bam, you're back in the fight. It can happen just as easily. Although, saying that, Demonic Bolt does have that vengeance.
Oh, wow.
Hits.
A nice 30 hit coming through. We literally just said a moment ago, that was it. It just needs a few hits to actually register, and the fight just completely balances out.
Oh, no, absolutely. Looking at the special attacks right now as well, Demonic Bolt having 30% left. He's still got that VLS. Can KO Fool's Kembo, disqualify if he gets lucky enough. Disqualify now on one shark. He's got his 3 brew doses. Again, like I said before, there it is, the 49, the spec that I spoke about. And there it is.
So much damage.
That is so difficult to come back from now. I believe it might be all over Fool's Kembo.
That could have been it, yeah, that's enough. Especially when you consider the fact Demonic Bolt has vengeance. Every time Disqualifier gets a big hit from here on out, it's not going to be able to recover from it. So unless he can stack him, it's going to be the end.
At the same time, though, I mean, Disqualifier almost has 25% special attack, which is the requirement to use the VLS special, which, as we've seen before, can do absolutely monumental damage, 60s and such, but it might be too little too late. The vengeance stacking into a 33 nice through his prayer, and he could have been KO'd there. 4 sharks, advantage. Demonic Bolt takes that with ease.
That was an incredible fight.
Wow.
So much damage coming in the way from Demonic Bolt, mostly down to the fact that his hits were just timed perfectly against, the opponent that was wearing his less defensive armors. It's much nicer being in that tank position because you don't have to worry about accidentally going in or being in at the wrong time and having, less actual defense against whatever your opponent is going to use at the time.
Can we also figure out who these players are from? I believe HRN might be from Tartar. As I saw that Majors book, I believe his old name was Symphony or something like that, Symphony. And I think he actually killed me on my demo mode tournament.
So we have HR Non, who is actually not registered as part of any clan, so it could be a solo player. And then we have Luco Taco, who is representing Tartar.
Okay, then. Maybe it's Tartar versus Tartar. I tell you what, HRN as well is doing such a good job of faking right now and waiting, stalling his damage, allowing his opponent to actually hit big, and then deciding what he's going to use after. 32 through the prayer, but HRN almost KOs his opponent. That could be a KO there on 32 hit points. Luco going for the tank setup. He has a miasmic staff in his, the staff in his inventory, the PvP weapon, that he hasn't got any major runes to use with. Maybe it's for extra defense bonus. He can just wield it occasionally or something.
Potentially, yeah.
HRN at the moment as well. Sorry, go on.
I just want to interrupt you. Sorry, Ian. I just want to make sure that everyone that is at home, that is watching, everyone in the audience is aware that our affiliation of the clans and knowledge of them is to our best knowledge. It might not be 100% accurate, so it may be that this character isn't a solo player. It might not be that this guy's even with Tartar, but as far as we're concerned, as far as we can tell, that is as correct as we can be at this present moment in time.
Absolutely, and right now, HRN, look at his inventory advantage, going to show that actually, if you fight someone that doesn't know 100% what they're doing, or you can outplay them, and you have the tribal setup, you get a few lucky freezes, it can be the most confident build to really use. Luco at the moment, though, he's not out of it just yet. He still has he has no special attack. What? HRN has full
special attack a moment ago, but he's just got a nice swipe there with that sword, hitting a 30 followed by a 20 plus. Really nice bits of damage. It's going to take HRN.
Dude, it's evened it out.
A little bit of food down, yeah.
It's evened it out really well. And by the way, as well, HRN actually still has full special attack, not utilizing a single spec. And that could be his downfall, obviously, as special attack does recharge throughout the fight. A nice spec in here, finally.
17 though, whilst in protect from melee. So at least he managed to get one out, not the best of timing. Maybe he's been just waiting for those vengeance to come down because he doesn't want to do a big hit when vengeance is up. Another great thing that you can utilize as part of the tank setup, which might be why a lot of our players opted to go for it, because last tournament we didn't see it very much, but seeing the damage potential of the VLS, potentially having tank and vengeance is just the best thing to rebound that.
Definitely. Also big spec right now, a 38
you love those
spec, I believe was that Diamond Bolt
and then a 30 Bud Barrage as well.
Now, saying as well, actually, whoever makes it through this round is going to get themselves a full set of Armadil. Whether it's useful or not at this stage of the game, probably not, because, no one's got really magic left on, but still, the range bonuses of having full Armadil is absolutely huge when range has got biggest DPS.
Considering that using ranged and melee, it definitely is worthwhile. Now, interestingly as well, you can see here the fights. This is the third fight. We have one left. They know who's going through, and you can figure out what your opponent has, their play style, what kind of times they want to go in for special attacks. A nice hit there, 26 coming from HRN. but it's going to be really good for those other players to have been able to witness this fight.
I'm actually so surprised. H-Ron was actually dominating the start of the fight, and now he's actually come back. But saying that, the 35, although being vengeance back from Luco, now Luco is out of food, 67 hit points. HRN looks to be almost out of food too, approximately 100 HP. So it's not much in it, one hit, and it's even Stevens. And Luco with the little VLS hit there, hitting a 0 unfortunately for him. And HRN again keeping calm and just stalling his hits, keeping his tank armor on every time his opponent hits him, catching that freeze. That was so important, so crucial. And now can he get that DD underneath? Maybe, keep up this pace of the fight, keep controlling it. Luco now down to 37 hit points. HRN taking no damage whatsoever. Once you're frozen away, you can only use range. You can only use one attack style. You're not going to do that much damage, really, are you?
This might be the first Brid that we've managed to see get through. There we have it. HRN has managed to get through. Unfortunately, we don't know who is part of a clan at the moment. He might even be a solo player, but he just did a fantastic job.
And he's picked himself
down his opponent.
The full Armadillo as well, which could be really effective against these two guys. Actually, we have more hybrids in the tournament. Never mind about the tank setup.
Here we go.
S-Engineer being Alfie, of course, who's made it this far. And he's got himself the Dragon Crossbow.
Against North-South, who is representing Lit.
Well, there we go. A Lit member still in. Might be Voss, actually.
So we have Blazers against Lit. S-Engineer representing Blazers, also known as Alfie, and then North-South is representing Lit.
He's using, I've not seen this before, actually, he's using the Javelins as his range weapon, just to throw them. If he runs out of Javelins, though, he's not going to have any range attacks. He only has 28 left in the tournament.
Interestingly as well, the only person that we've seen so far who actually has a magic defense shield. So he just have the malediction ward. So it's dropping into that whenever he uses magic, whereas, Alfie, S-Engineer, is having to stick with the crystal shield.
Oh, they're saying that, though. The Malediction Ward has very low melee and range defense bonuses. But yeah, it's got a tank shield, too, a DFS, which would be very useful
so
as
as long as he just switches into those with the perfect timings, which it looks like he's doing a very good job of being able to do so far. Should be able to help him in the fight.
I will say one thing, though. Unfortunately for North-South, he doesn't have a Suffering, and Alfie does. And that is a huge advantage in this fight, going to show that it's worthwhile grabbing that from Demonic Gorillas if you're able to get yourself some
nice
M2 done.
Really good timing, but didn't hit the huge. There we go, another hit followed up again. 2 specs out, might as well get rid of it, especially when the guy's sitting there. Has the protect from melee up, but was wearing his magic robes. So
Alfie is just absolutely dominating this tournament right now. Unfortunately, the staff bash, has had to do that, as I said that. But regardless, man, getting the Premier League on for the VLS spec, doing a really good job, being stepped under right now, but still having a huge food advantage against North-South, and again, hitting and so much damage against him. I don't think North-South's going to come back. I mean, that Dragon Crossbow is just so strong, and hits through defense so well. And actually, Alfie, if he wins this fight, he also gets himself the upgrade of the DFS.
You said he couldn't bring it back. North-South, 2 really nice hits, and that's probably going to even up the food situation.
And a 31 barrage as well. North-South coming back in absolute stellar style. And another 23 VLS.
That could have been it. He could have been taken out, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. That was the right prayer to hit it on. And North-South, if he gets the Suffering, does get himself as well the recalls in his inventory, so he can charge that Suffering, which is huge for him.
He may have jinxed this fight entirely, Pure Spam, because North-South has definitely brought it back now. We're looking at a food situation of 3 sharks,
so sorry,
2 Saradomin Brewdoses against S-Engineer, who has 2 sharks, 2 Karamban. Make it that 1 shark, 1 Karamban, and 1 Saradomin Brew.
S-Engineer right now, aka Alfie, trying to catch this freeze. He's to catch it, catches it, luckily for him, and now he's going to be unfrozen any second.
It's time to shine. His opponent does have Mithril Seeds, however, whereas S-Engineer does not have them. So there we go, a freeze back, going back in.
Those Javelins, even without the special attack, are still hitting absolutely insane damage. That's a 30 barrage again. The fakies from North-South, absolutely obliterating Alfie. But Alfie's out of food, 48 hit points.
Wow, he's really done a good job of bringing that through.
Has 80 HP and 3 sharks left. I mean, it's probably a little bit too late now. And yeah, I think I did jinx it, actually. Alfie was in the lead by quite a bit.
I mean, he had to do something crazy to bring it back, and he absolutely did. But look at the difference in supplies left. He's also picked himself up, whatever he wants to take from Alfie. I don't think there's anything in there that you could utilize, though. Maybe he takes the Dragon Crossbow instead of using the Javelins, but it seems to be working for him so far.
I mean, and to win this fight as well, against a Ring of Suffering, which every single time you hit deals damage back.
Of course, he gets the Ring of Suffering.
Difficult.
That's the most important thing from this fight. He's going to go out of it with the best
if S-Engineer puts up the Redemption right now, he can get a heal if he changes prez.
Oh, no!
But he gets VLS Spect out, and that is the end of the road for Alfie. North-South going through. LD, I wonder which class. Is that DL maybe, potentially?
So
we spelled it wrong.
Yeah, we had Lit down as a potential affiliation there, but it might be that it was DL.
Might be DL as well. I mean, we don't know at this point in the game mode. Obviously, all we're going by is
what
they spam in game, really. So if you are watching the tournament, you're still playing in it, please give us a little hashtag of what clan you're with. But no, it's been absolutely fantastic so far. I can't believe that Alfie actually fell there. So unfortunate.
Managed to get so far, but fell just at the last hurdle. But I mean, congratulations to get it as far as he did. One thing that I really liked about that round in particular was that it just went to show that full tank isn't always the best.
No, definitely not.
And even though Alfie had the Ring of Suffering, he had the advantage in terms of gear and in terms of setup. He should have statistically won that fight. but unfortunately for him,
outplayed towards the end,
yeah,
man.
he was outplayed, and a lot of damage came his way, and he wasn't able to mitigate it by returning any back. So,
and those comebacks as well make this tournament so interesting because it's not over. Until, you know, it's completely over. People can come back for several food very easily.
Sure.
And watch the replay package right now. This was Fool's Kembo versus Demonic Bolt. Juicy Apple versus DI Raccoon. Juicy Apple being the leader of Fools. And I believe that Ian Merry, the leader of Fools, did manage to win this fight and take down DI Raccoon.
Yep.
It was very, very close. Two tanks going at it. Absolute titans of this tournament.
As you said, it would be went close to the wire.
It really was really close, but Juicy Apple just taking it with only 4 hit points left. Now Disqualifier, Fool's Kembo versus Demonic Bolt as well. Demonic Bolt being in Blazers and Disqualifier being from Fools. So again, a bit of the negative talk from Demonic Bolt trying to fake out his opponent, and I mean it worked for him. Fool's Kembo not able to keep up with Demonic Bolt, and just that full tank setup. It's gonna be interesting to see how he does against that other hybrid that's still left in the tournament, who was doing so well against Alfie, one of the best hybrids left in the tournament right now, you have to say. But Demonic Bolt had so much food left over at the end. We have Luco versus HRN as well, and this is the fight we just saw a second ago.
A fantastic fight. The way that this turned around towards the end was just absolutely incredible. Like those hits, the VLS is really just like, it's such a deal breaker in these fights. You really need to make sure that you have one and use it at the best times. And the players that have really just gone to show that it's made them win.
And we saw a bunch of cross-post special attacks coming there. Got a little bit too excited when those go off. And the Blood Barrages too being utilised to heal yourself a little bit of HP. Every little tactic like that just helps a little bit more. That was such a close fight. Hydron. This, sorry, was the fight. This was Alfie versus
this was the one.
South. This was the one that was so close, where Alfie was dominating at the start. You saw him being up a little bit of food. But North-South
he just seemed to be controlling it completely, and then
look at this point here. At this point here,
that
it's a brew versus a brew, and like several sharp costs
and there you go, the 30. It's because look, he was protect from ranged in the robes,
and again a 31 barrage there as well.
Straight away, yeah.
And a 24. Those javelins, I didn't think anyone were using them. People were going for the dragon crossbows and such, but the javelins clearly being really strong as well.
Don't forget as well, the javelins, they have a special attack.
They do.
So they have a spec bar. They are a ranged spec weapon. We talked about that earlier in the tournament and how important it can be to help you get those real fast switches into different pieces of equipment.
Can't see what's coming.
It's very difficult to predict what they're going to be doing in those situations.
And the guy that actually just beat Alfie as well gets himself Alfie's
Ring
gear.
of Suffering,
so
and
the DFS is suffering.
He had those Ring of Recalls to charge it as well.
Really smart strategy there.
Really good for him. Now we are going to be going into the final four, the semi-finals, okay? And this is the clash of the clans.
Oh,
do you want to know why?
Go on, man.
All right. In the final four, to the best of our knowledge, apologies if we've got it wrong, anyone back at home, clan members, don't get upset if we did. I'm sure you can verify later on. But we're looking at Lit versus Fools versus Blazers versus... who the hell knows?
The last guy could be a solo player. It could be a guy from DLM from the other clans.
That's an interesting close-up, thank you.
Gorgeous, mate.
I probably should have shaved before I came on here. And those players, we're going to be looking at North, South, East, who is representing Lit. Juicy Apple against Fools. We've got Demonic Bolt for Blazers, and HRN, who we have no idea who is affiliated
Big names as well. I mean, I think Demonic Bolt, actually, I'm not going to say what the actual name is, but I think it's one of the leaders of Blazers.
Okay.
We have, obviously, Ian Mary, like you said before, representing Fools. So we got, the big guys from these clans as well, making it all the way through to the end.
I think you should say who it might be.
I'm not going to risk his potential.
Oh, okay.
Let's jump right into it.
Hopefully we'll find out if they manage to get through, because I'm sure we will. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the semi-finals of the Deadman Winter 18 tournament. Can't wait to see how this one unfolds. We're going to be doing one fight at a time, thankfully. We get to this straight away, both players down to half HP, those Vengeance hits with the VLS.
But they both anticipated the VLS coming in straight off the bat with the Prey melee. Both hitting 30s, though, and then retaliating it straight back. It's completely even right now. Both 79 HP using 2
Both players have fantastic pieces of gear as well. You can see here that they're up into the tank shell.
Juicy Apple, forget to put his run energy on, but it doesn't matter. Still hits a 37. He's walking around the map, all casual, like he doesn't care. He's made it this far. He's having fun at the moment. And like I said before, both these players, Fools and Blazers, I believe these are both the leaders or some of the really high-ranking players of their teams. Demonic now trying to chuck in those VLS as best he can. And it's currently, I'd say gear-wise, Juicy Apple as well, utilizing that range switch in between hits. Demonic just sticking in the same gear pretty much, apart from changing over
nice
his...
hit there from Juicy Apple as well. Getting into every pit. Oh, okay. Retaliation hits coming through as well. Really good Vengeance coming through for Juicy Apple. The damage just goes back and forth constantly with these tank fights. You don't see anything for a little while, and then it's just constant, and then they eat up again, and straight back again. Start
And they
over.
both have such attacks still left over. I would say Juicy Apple is in the lead right now with a couple food advantage, but as we've seen before, it doesn't matter. Demonic Bolt getting a 21 bolt in. Those bolts, man, coming in strong, but retaliated by another 20 from Juicy Apple as well. Both got the Vengeance, can be utilized very soon as well. And I think Juicy Apple's doing a really good job of, switching his styles across and going for the tank gear at the right times. But Demonic getting a 36 through the prayer, plus an 18 retaliation Venge, which is really nice as well. Not too high a hit, but when your opponent is going to hit you, if he's going to hit you big, you may as well have a Vengeance up for those hits as well.
It definitely helps out, and you can see now both players just opting to try and keep Protect from melee up as much as possible.
I mean, the VLS is just so accurate, man. You don't have your prey melee time, and if they're potted up, it's going to be like a 50 to the forehead. You can't really do much about that one at all. Demonic Bolt now utilizing his bruise to the best of his ability, but look how much food disadvantage he has right now. Both players with Rings of Suffering, so even if Demonic Bolt does, exchange hit for hit, he's just going to fall to the Suffering.
There's two sharks left here for Demonic Bolt. It looks very bad for him, but it could be the case of just a few more hits that help bring it back for him. And there we have it. Before we look at it now, we're looking at 1 shark for Demonic Bolt, 4 sharks for Juicy Apple. If he can get in 1 spec, one
on
good
the right
spec is all that it will take. And every time that he's protected from a melee, then Demonic Bolt can just come in with the range and hopefully get that look, which is going to help him just balance this fight out.
Juicy went for the VLS
wow,
spec
there you have it, at 39.
There it is, yeah.
Juicy from melee staying up.
And the 18. I mean, he's doing really well to stay in this fight right now. 73 hit points versus 62. Whoa, another big hit there again.
It's in Demonic
He's just come back
favor.
in no time, literally. And now he has 50% spec versus 50% spec. Any second now, they're going to get more special attack. Juicy Apple gets it first. You can utilize the VLS, can still hit like 60s and stuff. If he went for the VLS spec there was the right prayer, could have easily gotten
coming up
both
as well.
Vengeances. We could see a KO here or a double KO. Unfortunately for Juicy Apple, only a 4 on his Vengeance. And Demonic Bolt using his Vengeance now, can he get a big retaliation potentially? Looking right now, both specs being used.
Oh, that was a spec you used up from Demonic Bolt. Nothing though. But Juicy Apple's opting to just still camp that Protect from melee. So Demonic Bolt is able to just bring out that crossbow every time that he wants.
And
he's
those
got such
opal
a better
bolts,
chance.
they hit so well through prayer.
They really do.
Utilizing the redemption a bit too early on there, maybe. He's sitting on 54% HP versus 52. Again, neck and neck, so close. And this is literally so much prize money on the lines between.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Between a fine or a chance of $10,000 or $20,000 right here, depending on who makes it through. Juicy Apple utilizing his spec as well. Another 0 for the 0 that Demonic Bolt just hit on him as well. And it's so close right now. Another spec of 50.
50 spec.
Oh my gosh! The Demonic Bolt hits the 50 bolt.
Holy moly!
In true fashion of his name, respect
The one
to that.
time that he goes in without Protect from melee.
Hey, unfortunate for Blazers right there. Sorry, fortunate for them. Unfortunately for Eomeri, the leader of Fools, falling just before with only a few HP difference. Now North, South, East versus HRN coming in here. Can you remind us again, Ben, of which teams these guys are from? I believe HRN we don't know, do we?
HRN, we have no idea. North, South is affiliated with Lit, we believe.
Okay, well, Lit had a smaller force, so they told us within this tournament, but in actuality, we saw they had like 60+ people.
And I did notice earlier, whilst this fight was starting, HRN was actually trash-talking North-South, saying, you really think you're going to beat me? So I'm
seriously
kind of hoping to see the...
well, it's a bit of a mind game, isn't it? Trying to psych your opponent out. At this stage of the game, all these guys haven't been this far before, and when money is on the line, you're representing your whole entire team, and everything is really riding on you to make them, have that cruise of the lifetime with the clan, or go to a mansion they're going to get out, and they're all laughing in game right now.
We
just
see
like
both players,
absolute disrespect.
We've got North-South, who's got that much gear that he's having to juggle food from the floor because he has just that much in his invent.
So
a lot of switches, he hasn't dropped it out. But really interestingly, we're actually seeing 2 Brids fight against one another. We've seen 2 tanks. We are now, regardless of whoever wins, it's going to be hybrid against tank.
And HRN catching the freeze right there. Can he utilize it though? And those switches, he's doing like 4 ways. 3 ways rather. He's got a Mage's book for the extra mage attack bonus as well to make sure those freezes do actually count. Whereas North Sea has got the switch with the the Malediction Shard probably. Right now, another freeze coming in for North Sea. Can he step underneath? The Javelins just hitting zeros now. They were so much more effective versus Alfie, but that's just the game really. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't over time. Hopefully on the right praise, he can get some good hits in though. He still has 85% special attack versus 95%. So we're going to see some big specs coming in very shortly as well. Both players having the VLS, which can swamp people. It's a 5-tick weapon, so it's quite fast compared to the AGS, which traditionally is quite slow. A nice 12 there,
really
unfortunately.
Nice hit there,
it was on the right prayer, but
really
just, not really the damage he wanted to hit. And jumping in again right now, he's using the javelins, or at least faking with them to try and catch this freeze, but splashing, and both players splashing, and HRN actually being frozen with the Armadillo top on, really surprising. He's got so much mage defense bonus right there. And North-South does have a disadvantage in terms of gear, I believe. But again, I'm still so surprised that he didn't utilize Alfie's weapon. 41 VLS coming in right now as well.
Yeah,
he could have picked up the bolts and such.
If it was me, I probably would have at this point taken on the Dragon Crossbow.
I mean, especially after seeing the 50 from Demonic Bolt a second ago to win that fight.
Definitely worthwhile bringing. Now, I was going to mention how HRN has just got so much more supplies compared to North-South, but North-South has just managed to bring it back in the last 3 hits.
Yep.
So that they're almost equal. However, HRN still has a combat and ranged potion, so he's going to try and use that. Looking at it, 65% special attack.
That's pretty much free specs this fight,
yeah, we're going to be looking at, in a moment, he's going to sip his last brew. There we go. He's going to restore that back up. You can probably bet now that he'll start potting. Oh, man, it's like I'm a clairvoyant. And the next 2 things that you'll do is you'll start using his special attacks because he's at maximum combat stats whilst his opponent is trying to go into the...
And unfortunately for Northman, he needs to come back there, and he hit a very low VLS spec on the right prayer too.
He's also now out of food. So
87 HP versus, what is that, like 160? I mean, it's only double the HP, but a 47 clutches HRN, the huge advantage right now. He still has 2 special attacks left. On the right prayer again, a 13. Can he finish this one off, or is North Sea going to come back in time?
Just been frozen there. North Sea going in for the hit, but not doing any damage. He needs to step under. Does not want to be standing out there because one hit and he's dead.
Prayer though, he can still hit that through prayer, which
it might even die to the suffering.
I mean, yeah, probably actually with 21 HP left. I think you're right. He's actually going to fall here.
53 spec from the VLS.
I mean, even through prayer, you can easily take down 20 HP. That was a wise decision. I mean, you know, all that terrible talking game, you know, flaming his opponent out, but goes to show that, you know, he was the better hybrid.
Yeah,
clearly.
He really did a good job there of, you know, to the point that we could almost predict what he was going to do move for move. Just shows that he knows himself what he has to do to make sure that he's going to win that fight.
Absolutely. And that was the semi-finals.
We are going into the last fight of the tournament, which is going to be the grand final.
Grand final. Oh my gosh, we're here already. So first place, of course, $20,000 grand prize. Wow.
So we've got Demonic Bolt against HRN. Demonic Bolt representing potentially Blazers. We still have no idea who HRN is representing.
We don't know who he is. So we've got a hybrid now who's shown himself to be a very competent PKer as well. His skill set, his gear as well, advantage he's got. Well, I mean, both players have got max gear right now, but Demonic Bolt got a little trick up his sleeve. Those 50 bolts, if they hit on the right prayer, man, it's all over
again,
for
you
him.
say that you got the 50 bolts, but he's also got the 53 VLS spec.
True. Both players have the VLS.
Careful.
I mean, Vengeance versus Barrage. I don't know which way it's going to go. We're going to look at the replay package real quick right now.
I'm going to beat you for 20k. That's what we didn't get to see that. 10k.
So much for that one.
That was really back and forth, yeah.
So yeah, this fight was Juicy Apple versus Demonic Bolt. As I said before, Juicy Apple was representing Fools as their leader, Iamira, making it to the top 4, showing that, you know, that clan is not just a multi-clan. They're really competent in singles too, so great job to him. But unfortunately, just falling short versus Demonic Bolt, who is from Blazers, one of their leaders representing them. And again, you know, making it obvious that going for those items, the Ring of Suffering, the DFS, the ACB and such, it was totally worthwhile that week. They weren't PKing much during the week, and it clearly paid off.
There's like a lot of people that are surely going to be out there saying, oh, you know, everyone's just taking tank gear, it's the meta. There's that beautiful bolt.
Oh, that was so lucky,
I love that so much.
But still, Yameri's saying good fight, respect to him, man, despite falling.
Completely. So, you know, back to the point of a lot of people will be like, oh, everyone's wearing tank gear, you know, that's not the way people should be breeding. But you've got to remember that in order to get this gear, it's not just a case of like, oh, you just get to the tournament, rock up and pull it out your bank. These clans have spent so much time. They have taken huge risks to make sure they can lock down these areas to be able to fully camp them out. And without that, they wouldn't have been able to be in the position they are now. So fantastic effort for them to get the gear that they have, to have got as far as they have too. It's clearly showed to be paying off for them now. I can't wait to go into this final.
We're about to jump into it. We've got the range tank versus the Tribrid.
Come on, make the predictions now. Is it going to be Demonic
I don't know
Bolt?
who HRN is, and after seeing him, you know, talking a little bit of smack versus opponents, I'd love to see the Karma kick in, and I want to see Demonic Bolt throw a bunch of 50s
I'm with you on that
well.
one. I'd like to see, you know, let's hopefully that Demonic Bolt is a nice guy.
He is lovely. I do know him. He's a
You know
really
him,
good
you
guy.
won't tell us who he is just yet. Hopefully we'll find out. But yeah, it would be nice to see the good guy come out on top.
Absolutely. Let's jump into this final of the Demo Mode Winter 18 tournament. $20,000 on the line.
2 seconds, 1 second to go. Let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the final fight of the Deadman Winter 18 tournament.
HRN just said #frontline. So one of the most notorious single clan PKers out there.
Hold on, while the action's slow, I say slow, they nearly died here. Look at this arena. What is going on?
Oh, wow, the PK skull as well. That's beautiful. Very
fantastic.
icy. Very,
Thank you again, Mod West. We've said it before, we'll say it again. Mod West is best. Now, enough of that for the thank yous for now. Let's have a look at this fight. Demonic Bolt frozen in place by HRN obviously does not have the barrage, is opting to use the tank with Vengeance, has Suffering, I believe both players do. HRN with a nice hit there with the VLS against Protect from Magic.
Again, just fake his opponent as best he can, but from the back, actually, Demonic Bolt got, I think it was 2 30-something VLS specs through, but HRN retaliating using 2 of his specs as well, one of them hitting a nice 25 through the Pret. Now, Demonic in the full armor deal, can't be frozen in place by HR. I think what HR is doing is he's switching to his magic gear to try and force Demonic Bolt to pray mage, and then quickly switching to something else, such as the VLS. But a little misclick here, maybe the nerves are slightly getting to him. Demonic Bolt just going for those big bolts here, hoping for those 50s. Oh, 32! Unfortunately for him, HRN just gets the freeze on. 30 freeze, here catching him in place. And HRN realizes that opponents actually got those Mithril Seeds. There's no point in walking underneath. I'd say right now,
no point in walking underneath,
food-wise,
though.
it's the same as well.
Yeah, completely equal. But you've got to remember that if HRN can manage to catch that freeze, all he has to do is sit in pretty much tank and protect from ranged, because there's no more damage output from Demonic.
No, you're completely
He doesn't
right.
have a third swap apart from that Vengeance, but, you know, HRN can predict that. He can just go in and poke whenever he wants.
No, literally, and just, you know, slide,
that's exactly what he's doing.
around the arena like it's an ice skating rink, really, you know, winter theming. And HRN right now, can he catch his freeze? Can he walk underneath? Catch the 31, that's beautiful. But unfortunately for him, he does get the Vengeance retaliation as well. He now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sharks versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sharks as well.
It looks
both
like
players very
is up
similar.
a little bit though in terms of bruise. Both players have opted to use the same technique. However, Demonic Bolt just decided to use his combat motion.
The 37 was using the Mithril Seeds too. That's very unfortunate for him. And a 28 Blood Barrage. Oh my gosh, HRN just, you know, going around like crazy, man. He's just trying to get as much time as possible and constantly catching a Demonic Bolt off prayer. But Demonic is not out of this one yet. I've not seen any of those Demonic Bolts coming into effect though, unfortunately for him.
HRN has just had so much good luck of getting these freezes, especially against someone who's wearing full armor deal. We were saying about how that might not come up so useful for someone who doesn't have the ability to kind of like, you fully utilize 3 combat specs, but he's actually fully in there. It doesn't matter. HRN just catches every single freeze.
No, you're completely right. They're about 33 Bolt from Demonic Bolt. He's about to put it into overdrive, catching the 0 VLS spec, very unfortunately. He's unfrozen right now, so HRN wants to catch that freeze as fast as possible, and catches it instantly again on the full armor deal. This guy's RNG is absolutely insane. Demonic Bolt now only has 2 Karambans left compared to HRN's 1 Shark, 1 Karamban, 2 Brewdoses. So he's got a slight advantage, but we've seen it happen before. We'll see it happen again potentially if Demonic Bolt gets a few big hits off. But, I mean, like you said before, if HRN is just freezing his opponent in place constantly, you can't really do anything apart from Bolt.
But
a 26 again, pre melee, perfect for HRN, getting the Venge back up again too. And
there he is, he's frozen once more.
What? Every single time this guy's RNG is insane. He's not even using the Mage's Book at this point either. He's keeping the DFS on.
It wouldn't be so much of a problem if Demonic Bolt had another attack.
Oh, the 43 KO!
No way! That's it, it's done.
He's won it with that!
He managed to beat his opponent.
I've not seen a KO in the finals before, have we? He had 2 food left. Hashtag frontline, hashtag Inya. We've seen this guy before. Inya is one of the top hybrids in the entire game, taking home that $20,000 prize.
They wanted to end that fast.
Mate, I can't believe that. He had 2 Karambans left. He's going to be kicking himself. Like, that just shows the power of the VLS.
Yeah,
you know, walk around and dance
he was doing
around,
a fantastic job of just really controlling his opponent. Yeah, granted, he got really lucky with the freezes, but his opponent had no other option. He can only use ranged and melee.
But I will say, I think every single clan must be so happy with their clan members' performances. We saw,
we look at how many people got into like the final 8 individual clans. It was Clash of the Clans coming up to the final 4, and then eventually here we see someone who, you know, represented someone that wasn't even spoken about the entire tournament.
No, exactly.
So good job to them. I do believe that we're going to be moving over to Mod Archie now, who's going to have a quick chat with the players. Once that's done, we'll get final confirmation on the victor. Obviously, if you've not been aware before, we do like to make sure that we've checked everything beforehand, and the team are going to go into and make sure there's been no wrongdoings up to this point. But for now, I'm going to leave you over with Mod Archie, and let's finally hear what the players thought about their tournament run-up so far.
Hey guys, we're joined with our 4 players on stage. Manked, you fought a decent battle, I think. You won your first fight, ended up losing your second fight. Was it Eomeri you were fighting? And how did that go?
It went well, however, I managed to splash 20 times. And I did the data, because we all love data, and if I just hit a 5 for every splash, I would have won that. So he was 88 HP, 20 splashes. It was unfortunate, but he's a good PK, so I'm happy to lose to him. It's fine.
That's very well said. And do you think if you did go on to beat him, do you think you would have stood a chance in a fight like that?
I'm never going to count myself out, so yeah, I think I could have stood a chance.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Are you competing in the next season in tournament?
Always.
All right, thanks very much, Manked. MMORPG, again, you made it to the finals. You've done well. Did you tie your place last time?
I believe the last time, I've won 2 fights before. Because this was an extra fight, it was top 64, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I managed to win 2 fights again. Luckily, some really good matchups at the start.
Yeah. And how did you think the tournament went overall? Is this exactly what you were kind of planning for?
Overall, like I was quite scared of our numbers, so I wasn't even too sure I was going to make it to the 1v1s. But luckily, there was a huge alliance at the end, which we managed to take over Falador. So managed to get to the 1v1s, do some fights with my setup, and very happy overall how it went.
All right, well done to you. The next season, are you going with the same strategy? Can you talk to me a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
So next season, probably going to be qualifying for the tournament again. For the strategy, probably just going to stick with the same thing. I do enjoy like session the whole week, putting in a lot of hours for it. So we'll see how it goes, and may change up some stuff depending on the overall tournament changes.
All right, well thank you, MMORPG. Fool's Justice, we've been saying it since the beginning of this thing. We knew you had a target on your head, and it definitely seemed like there was a clan with a vendetta against you. What happened?
I got gangbanged.
So, you did get attacked by multiple people at the same time. That was unfortunate. You were dragon speared. There wasn't much you could do about that. Were you trying to spam click bruise at the end there, just trying to stay alive?
You can't do anything.
Nothing you could do.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Do you think if you had made it into the 1v1s, you would have stood a decent chance at winning this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Have you made the Fool's Boys proud? I think so.
Hope
Come
so.
on.
And shout out to Eomer and Kembo. You did well.
They did do well. All right. Well done to you. Justice. Now we have Bodhi. Thanks, guys. There you go. Bodhi, you went up against, I believe it was Disqualifier in the finals. Was it? Who did you end up losing to?
No, yeah, because Disqualifier was Kembo. I fought another person from Fools who Disqualifier or Kembo actually beat later on.
Yes,
in
that's
rounds.
right. And how did that fight go?
Well, my fight, I was there, and I think the first fight's the most important because you have the banks, you have the bruise and everything, rather than the set hit point cap.
Yep.
So when my guy appeared with max gear, and then he told me he was in Fools, I was like, I think Fools have some of the best 1v1s. I was like, this is going to be a tough fight. And I think he beat me with 4 bruise. I think I performed quite well. I'm not disappointed with my performance, but he was just better than me. He had the better stuff, so overall, I think he beat me with a lot of hit points left. But he went through and went quite far as well. Then lost to another Fools member, so I think they must have been happy with that.
And in the multi areas leading up to that fight, you were targeted quite heavily. You ended up making it through with just a little bit of food left, so I think you did well to make it that far. Would you have changed anything up for this strategy?
No. Normally when I go in the final area, I like downgrade the gear a bit, just so I'm not in the max gear, and then just try and blend in a bit, blood barrage to utilize as much hit points as possible. Then I just don't let my hit points drop too low, just in case I get dropped. Like if anyone sees a low hit point bar and targets me, I'm gonna die. So just my goal is literally stay alive, but at the same time I do as many barrages as possible. So I'm also dealing as much damage as possible because I think I killed 17 people with my barrages in the final area. So I obviously helped myself get through.
All right. Well done to you, Bodhi. I'm now going to join the casters back on the sofas as we take a look at who ended up winning this entire tournament.
What a tournament that was. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, I was so shocked to see that one of the frontline members, Inya, who is a name that really needs describing. He's been around for a long time, and he's won multiple tournaments that a player ran in the past too, representing one of the fiercest, one of the fiercest 1v1 single clans in the game frontline. And yeah, he deserved that completely. He was walking around, just dancing around, like I said before, skating around like an ice rink. He was just demolishing his opponent.
It was like watching someone go up against the pestilent bloat, just running circles around, waiting for the opportune moment and smacking them with full damage.
I like that analogy, that's nice.
It's true, he did seem very confident. We were saying this back upstairs, we were watching the fights, and there were some PKers that looked like they might have been a little bit nervous. The switches were coming in a little bit slower than you might expect, but he was pulling out those like 3-way barrage 1 ticks.
Dude, that guy was absolutely insane, and it just goes to show, especially when we've noticed all the way up until this point that pretty much every time, apart from 2 or 3 fights, I believe, that Tank won against Brid, and well, actually, if you're a fantastic Brid, if you get ridiculous RNG
if you
on
catch
your
those
freezes,
man,
then it can really pay off. And unfortunately, for those that didn't catch the freezes, it wasn't their day. But you can clearly see that it's not always the case, and sometimes RNG can be on your side. But at the same time, whilst we do talk about RNG, there's no doubt about it. We've all said it before, we can see it. You saw it in-game yourself as well. Those switches were fantastic. The opportune moments. There's a reason why that spec managed to kill him at that point, and that's because he used it against the right player and the right armor.
Definitely. He had 2 great ones left. But that's the first time I think we've seen in a demo tournament coming down to a KO and actually defeating their opponent.
Yeah, because normally it's like the last few hits, we get a redemption in there, and
it's
not
like
this
really
time.
hype and really close. But yeah, that
I love the
nowhere,
VLS.
man.
I love it.
It makes the whole tournament so more hype, doesn't it? Like KO potential, it's great.
It's staying for the next season in tournament, right? So if you want to get your hands on that as a viewer, that looked like a lot of fun, maybe.
Yeah,
definitely.
Play the next season.
Well, yeah, talking about the next season, it's going to be going live very shortly now that the tournament's soon to be ended. I'm pretty sure we're going to get full confirmation in a few moments about who was, official, just to make sure, but we're pretty certain. And then as soon as the tournament ends, we go straight into the season. You guys can...
Yeah, it's the best thing.
The first few hours especially are like the most ridiculous experience you're ever going to have in RuneScape. If you've never played old school RuneScape before, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know anything. You're going to get experience so fast. And plus as well, if you've never played it, if you've never done Deadman, you're not going to care if you die because you're not going to feel the
You're not going to lose anything. No, you just started it. It's the same account that you log into the normal RuneScape with. It's just a new separate server that lasts for 1 month this season also. You want to jump in right now. Everyone's level 3, fresh wipe, new economy, no items in the game. You'll be the first one to get that, that Dragonfire shield if you get lucky killing a dragon, or there's so many new things this season as well we can add in a little bit.
All right, guys, I think that's enough talking. We can come back to us, but I think it's finally time we announce the winner.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and throw the winner of the Deadman Winter 2018 finale on the big screen.
Oh, okay, here we go.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I can't wait to be able to understand the winner again, Archie.
Congratulations, HR
HR non-L-Colpar, yeah.
Right,
Wonderful
Frontline.
name.
We'll say Frontline.
His name's India, I believe, is what he goes by. He has a Twitter and stuff like that. I don't think he streams, but he does make videos potentially, or 55 is the name he goes by. So be sure to watch out for him.
We do reach out to the winners of these tournaments asking for a few words as a bit of a victory speech.
Okay.
I believe we're going to reach out and ask if he's up for a Skype interview, so we'll see if we can get that
interesting.
rolling. If not, hopefully we'll at least just get a few lines, even if he's just shouting
just a
at
word
us.
or two maybe, if possible.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like flabbergasted by what that all panned out. So what I'll do instead is I'll revert to the season again and just quickly give you some advice. If you are starting for the first time, head over to the tutors within Lumbridge, the combat tutors. They're going to give you some fantastic starter weapons and a starter pack. They're going to pretty much get you to probably around about level 50, maybe even level 60 in
50
certain
range
stats.
magic. And
so go grab those. They're free. They don't cost you anything. And just go and have fun, basically. That's what Deadman is all about. It's about having fun. It's about learning how to PK. It's about learning things about the game you probably didn't do before. If you're an Iron Man, you're probably going to do pretty well in Deadman. You don't have to fight everyone, don't forget. A lot of people play Deadman as a survival game mode rather than as a, as an actual going out killing people. And one good thing about that is that the more you practice surviving in Deadman, the more you're going to help yourself survive when you're out in the wilderness catching those black chin chompers.
And if you want a chance of obviously, taking part in this tournament, you've got to be the top two, right now, the top 2,000 total from the seasonal.
Yep.
So, get grinding, get your stats up nice and high, and find a clan to be a part of, because that's a huge part of demo mode as well, is, join forces, play with friends.
It's a great thing about Deadman as well. There's a lot of calls about clanning and how that, should be more favourable to solo, but I think we're in a really good position now, especially with the top 2, 5, 6, that solo players do have the potential to get through, but clans are always going to have, that level of an advantage, because the fact that it's a massive multiplayer online game.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to take that away from the game, especially.
The best part about it is that it brings together these friendships. Yeah, you take that away, you take away this huge part of the community.
Yeah, it's like a family, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked about earlier about Fools, going on cruises together with the prize money they win. So.
Well, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get their mansion and have the 70-person meetup, but it'll be interesting to find out what Frontline plan to do with their money.
Yeah, and I think joining in a new season, one of the first things I'd be doing is loading up the Twitch streams. Right now we have so many streamers going live. Streaming the new season, you can either join them and literally mimic their journey, their strategies, or you can YouTube some guides. That works as well. I think it's worth noting, guys, we haven't really touched on this. This was a phenomenal tournament.
Oh, yeah, it was.
The 356
remembering
was
back,
so nice.
The first few Deadmen was just the last player who happened to be in the fog that stayed alive.
Oh my
and now
God,
we
now
have
you say that.
The true best PKer.
It's come so far.
Yeah,
I suppose the production
very
quality here at ESL, man, it's gorgeous. So we've got the set right now, and just how smooth it all runs as well.
It has improved, and it's only getting better. The next tournament's only going to be better. I can't wait for the spring finale.
No, me neither. I'm really excited for the spring season. We've got a lot of good changes in there. I'm hoping that we can bring in some really exciting stuff ready for the spring tournament. So fingers crossed for that one, because it's just so fantastic. I love being in this position of being able to just talk about my favourite game in the entire world with some of my favourite people in the entire world as well.
Stop.
It's absolutely incredible. Deadman itself is fantastic. I love what it does for the PvP community and gives them an opportunity to kind of like actually, really just get their names out there. All Stars did a really good job. I'm hoping that kind of like transitions into a more of like a generic PvP thing as well. But until then, we do have Deadman. It is fantastic.
Yeah, man.
I love it to bits.
Jump in, man. Also, another good thing about the seasonals, we saw before, Manx saying that he splashed 20+ times. I believe they've actually changed the way that Magic works in the
very good.
seasonal as like a testing ground. So
Yeah.
if you want to run around and use Magic and use melee or range,
Yeah,
what
make sure
want,
you
have
provide
fun.
JMods as well with feedback on that one, because Magic defense and the way that it's calculated is very controversial within the old school community.
It's an
So
old
be
school
very,
game. It's been around since 2006
Yeah, no, of
and
course.
tampered with since then. So
Yeah, so speaking of the new season, guys, I believe we're about to watch the new world go live in a second here.
Awesome.
There it is, with that
Here we
smooth
have it.
transition.
Hey, look at all the noobs crossing
Always
the line.
agility course, look at that.
These guys are
All
wasting
these
time.
fresh noobs.
nah, man, they want to go to Agility Pyramid to start printing their money, their dollar
fair
bills.
enough.
That's why you 30 Agility for that one. Just getting a little base stats. Obviously, you've got safe zones where you can't be attacked by other players, so it's definitely worthwhile starting one of these places. Gnome Stronghold, this one, and from there you can then go train skills up, go do your Slayer, or engage in PvP combat. Although I would say at this point you want to get a few levels up first, because you go out there right now, there'll be a few clans that are lurking in the midst, maybe frontlines looking for the next 20k they want to win. So watch out for that one too.
Talking about Frontline, I
Yep.
actually have a winning statement from them.
fantastic.
What's he
So
got
okay
to
read
say?
it out. So, this came from Inya. Today, we prove to everyone that anything we take serious, we win. No matter what it is. Single, multi, Deadman mode, you name it. Hashtag Frontline, hashtag LitFam. You ruined it at the end, but until that point, it was great.
That was a great
the
speech.
lit fam.
Was the lit fam just him saying like, oh, it's lit, or is it saying like we joined forces with the lit?
Are they the lit
Fam?
fam?
I don't know, man. Maybe they help them through to the finals.
Well,
I
that's
hope so.
interesting.
it's the latter. Yeah.
It's a very powerful message, and well, they have every right to say that right now,
No,
because they've
definitely.
proven that a clan that we didn't mention once the entire build-up to the tournament
They've
had
not
no
been
info
very
about.
prevalent really in demo mode in the past seasons, and like I
good.
said before, they're very well known in normal old school
That's
RuneScape.
the beauty of Deadman really is we see these big clans come in. We saw Fools come in and we saw all these massive teams ganging up on them, trying to take them out. But we didn't really pay attention to some of the smaller teams. So some of these guys that can come in with 5, 10, 20 people can actually come out on top because they don't seem to be targeted amongst the masses.
Yep.
They kind of slip through the cracks and then make their way to the 1v1s, which is where their specialty is, and absolutely dominate. So it
Yeah,
was a
and
very
dominate,
deserved win.
they definitely
They
did.
definitely did,
Well,
yeah.
Inya did anyway, and huge amounts of respect for that. I can't believe how incredible that fight was. Congratulations again to Frontline. Thank you so much for your winning speech. It was, very nice one. Very powerful message being sent there. Very interesting to see what kind of rivalries we see come out of this tournament into the next one. Are we going to have these alliances continue? Our friendship's going to be broken? Our community is going to be crushed?
Or made.
Who
in
knows?
some cases as well. Them getting closer together, like I mentioned earlier, with Fools going across and having their yacht parties.
This is like a Dragon Ball outro.
Well,
next time.
find out on the next Deadman.
Okay, guys, I think that about sums things up.
Yeah,
for
I
us
just
here.
ruined it.
So I will
Sorry.
thank everybody for joining us in studio here, especially the ESL Leicester crew, all the Jagex staff behind, particularly the guys grabbing the data for us.
Yeah.
The stats were spectacular this time.
Yeah.
And well done to you guys as casters.
Thank you for having us,
and
inviting us
Ian.
back again to
Thank
hear
you,
us talk
guys.
about RuneScape all day long. That's what we love. So yeah, appreciate it.
All right, guys, that about sums things up. So the new season is live. Hop into the Deadman Spring Season 2019. And, well, thank you for watching. See you next time, guys.
See ya.